internal supply. So, if
It
you could
gets
just get a
all
little idea of that, you'd be good.
Yeah, oh,
idea, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We have a
Yeah.
quorum. We can start it.
Cheap labor.
Yeah. Do we know if anybody, should we see if any board members are out there? If not,
Okay, we can.
That's most of our cool.
did you see any other board members?
So apparently I was a dual citizen.
She's gonna stay out.
Yeah, we have a quorum.
Okay.
I'll wait till Aaron comes back.
You can. You're pretty shit.
Sometimes that's all you can say.
McDonald's job, talk about them getting there.
Yes.
Yes, let's go ahead and call this meeting to order since we do have a quorum. Stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
roll call, please.
Mayor Patterson. Mr. Yago. Mr. Shy. Mr. Fulton.
Present.
Mr. Nordike. Mr. Wilhelm.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Recognition of visitors, start with Mark. Come around and then go to the screen.
Mark Domboski, 301 South Second Street, Westcliff.
Rich Smith, Custer County Sheriff.
Jerry Peters, 409 South Fifth.
Acacia Roy, 603 South Second, South. I just said- No, do I do my business
Do your
address?
business.
106 South Second.
Lauren Austin, 15 Kryptonite Court.
Bianca Trenker, 11 Granada Court.
Mike Martinez, 207 Main Street, Westwood.
Patty Martinez, 207 Main Street.
And then on the, I'll start is Bill Smith. Can Bill Smith hear us? I don't know, I guess who Bill Smith is, but we have Bill Smith on the Zoom and Dan.
Yeah, Dan Finley, town attorney.
So the consent agenda, if everyone can look at the items on the consent agenda, all items listed under the consent agenda are routine and are approved with one motion. There will be separate discussion of these items if a board member or citizen requests. The items may be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately at the discretion of the Board of Trustees.
I'll move that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Motions are made and seconded that we approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Oh, well, wait a sec here, please check.
That's Chuck.
I do have some discussion. I know that for the capital fund money, we have a payment to Atencio Engineering for $86.50, and then One Up Paving, it's just half the payment for $111,500, but I understand that the final vote is going to be $169,202.80. So we went quite a bit over on that asphalt, and I just kind of wanted some clarification of that.
Yes, ma'am. We have 250 that we usually get budgeted for. And I'm trying to stay within that $250,000. The roads that needed done, if I would have stopped at 250,000, it would have stopped in the middle of the road. So I continued that paving on to finish the roadway. We also had some extra work done on where this curb and gutter was in the roadway, needed moved back, so that cost us a little extra too. I think he actually threw it in for free, but there was extra work that needed done over what we normally do.
So how does that work with the budget? I mean, if we had budgeted, and this may be an Aaron or a Dan question, if we had budgeted 250, but we went over, that overage happened without board approval. I don't know if that's a standard procedure or how that works.
In the past, we have gone over on our paving, which is why I think moving forward, you know, we need to budget probably at least 300,000. I think, because the past 2 years, 250 hasn't.
I just am wondering, I mean, if we had budgeted that, or if we had budgeted X amount of dollars for capital fund usage and we went over, like, where is that money coming from? Or, yeah, whoever.
It's still in the capital fund. When we had budgeted for the street sweeper the trucks, we had budgeted to do them outright. But we ended up financing them. So the capital fund overall right now is fine. It's not like we're at the bottom of the barrel or anything.
Okay.
It's healthy enough to take that.
Pardon?
Do we get bids on that?
Yes.
Asphalt?
Yeah.
How are the bids done? You just show them what we need done and then they bid that, or do they bid so much a square foot, or?
They bid so much a square feet, so I try to estimate how much square feet we need done. And then, I get a bid on that. We went over because we did an extra road, we did extra Third Street down there, stuff like that. Probably should have, went and begged for more money, ahead of time, but, did not. I apologize. It's just work that needs done and you end up having to get it done, and
They didn't run over on their estimate.
not on the estimate, no. We estimated $75,000. 75,000 square feet. We ended up doing 100,000 square feet.
25% over. Is that
Yeah.
about how much we are on the cost?
Yeah.
25 over?
Well, yeah, they dropped the cost quite a bit. So if they would have stuck at the cost, we would have been over 315,000. They dropped it down to like 290, 280 something square foot.
Are you satisfied with the quality of work?
I am very happy with the quality of work
Me too.
and how much we got done. And I thank you for letting us take that extra out of the budget. When we did chip seal, that was a 5-year contract to do 2 miles, and the last 2 years, that always went over the 250,000 also. And they were contracted to do the 2 miles. That's because of cost of oil, cost of labor, cost of material, rock, stuff like that went up.
Well, I'm glad they stayed within what they had estimated, even though oil costs went way up, you know. That's been something to fight a whole month.
I guess two things I have is Dan, are we okay? Because we did a little bit more for the other bidders. This is after the fact, after we already gave the contract to the folks that did it, correct?
Correct. So out of 4 or 5 companies that I called, I got 2 bids.
Okay,
And this company that I chose was the lowest bid
right.
for the 75,000 square feet
Was that per square feet? Is that?
per square feet.
Okay, so I guess that, and then so being we're within our budget of the capital fund, I would assume we need to maybe move that money from where we had it budgeted in the capital over to where it ended up. So is that what we should do to basically, so it's all.
Sometimes my extra over on repairing things comes out of either the street budget, because that was streets, or it would come out of parks budget if it was a park issue. So it just depends on.
I mean, it would make sense to come out of streets, and we still have a lot left over from that. We haven't used much yet.
No, because normally I have to buy universal patch mix to fix potholes, bad cracks, stuff like that. Or I gotta go down and buy the hot mix myself and lay it out with a grader. So we haven't tapped into the streets budget much this year. So we could take the extra out of that if we don't use that cap.
Okay. Any other questions? Did you have more questions, Bob?
I did just want to weigh in, and I don't know all the details, and I certainly think this is well within sort of normal things, so don't overtake what I have to say. But a lot of this is about finding the board's comfort zone. Ultimately, you rob Peter to pay Paul. You're going to have a budget that adds up by the end of the year. Now, you can amend the budget at certain times, and granting that flexibility to your town is very advantageous. The way that these costs are generally controlled is with the first contract. And then that goes before the board and the board approves, and it can approve with a contingency. I've seen that before, that is sort of at your comfort level. Then before work goes beyond that, the expectation needs to be that there's an amendment to the contract that comes back before the board. At that time, you can discuss budget amendments as well, or at least how to fund it. But that's sort of the normal pacing of the check-in. But again, it's sort of figuring out for you all how often you want to be amending budgets or seeing contracts versus in the loop fully and deciding everything, yourselves. So.
Okay. That's
Thank
good to
you.
know.
And we also have this situation too, where we have 2% and then the 1% was for capital improvements, so need to be careful of that. We don't
Mix it up.
mix it up. Yes.
Any other discussions on the consent agenda? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Old business, consideration of a request to approve the new language for future facade grant application. I don't know, Randy, didn't you two work on this?
We worked on the original one, and then actually Aaron and Melody, worked on went through the minutes and everything and added the things that the board wanted more clarification on or added into the facade grant
Yeah, we added,
application.
they need a valid business license, have to be a brick and mortar establishment. And then you guys wanted to limit it to only one sign per business,
Per building.
or per building,
Per
right?
And I was wondering on that, one sign, on the signage, if we wanted to put a cap on the signage so that people aren't going over here and putting up a $6,000-7,000 sign in front of their building. That's a lot of money to just be putting for just a sign if that's all they're gonna be doing. So I wanted to know if the board wanted to put a cap on any signage. The $1,000.
Like, we'll only pay X amount of dollars toward a sign.
Yes,
Yeah, because they go leave or go out of business or whatever,
yeah,
and we've got money invested that's
Right.
gonna not stay with the village.
yep.
That's a good
I
thought.
like that. So we want to take care of everyone's temperature on that.
Is it addressed in outlines anyway? Is our signs addressed in the outlines anyway, as far as grant goes?
It's a lot.
Well, no,
You just want to put a maximum.
we removed the signage on the one line, didn't we? The page I'm looking for, I don't have.
Item 13 says that one sign per business, not one sign per building.
Oh, no, this was down on, general guidelines, number 4, exterior improvements. They used to have signage on there, but we removed that, so do we want to put that wordage and signage, a maximum of, and give a percentage?
Or like on this, for this document, the program, for item 13, do we just say if grant money is used for signs, only one sign per, do you want it to be building or business? And then, like what, the amount, I'm sure I'm not saying this correctly, the amount for signage, The town will only pay up to whatever, $1,000 or 20% of your grant or something like that.
Yeah, that could be put in there.
Yeah,
Which would you rather? What do you guys want?
One sign per business with the maximum allowable expenditure of.
And do you want that maximum allowable to be percentage of their request or a flat amount?
I think I'd go with a flat amount. So you don't have to sit there and try to figure out, and that flat amount should be for the total sign cost or for just our amount?
Just the grant ones.
Just the grant.
Just for the grant amount.
I mean, if they want to spend 15,000 on a sign, that's up to them, but the town's only gonna pay 1,000 of that, or whatever you guys say.
Yeah.
That would be fine with me, 1,000. I know some of them, you know, they get the metal signs made and that does cost a lot of money.
Well, we have 4 business people here.
Yeah, let's ask what you guys think. What's a fair amount?
Mike's already bought his new sign.
Well, the thing with our sign, when we had it made, we had it something that fits the area, not neon and, you know, colorful stuff, something that fits. And we had the, I don't know if y'all familiar with Casey Signs. He'd been doing signs for the whole town for years. And that's what we did. Back then, it was this price. We went to try to see about getting our sign updated because we no longer do furniture, we no longer do antiques. So we've had kind of something on that, and it was rather outrageous with just a little bit of a change on it. So the sign they can get very, very, very pricey.
So I guess what I'm hearing what you're saying, how about the other ladies, y'all have any thoughts and ideas? You're all on Second Street.
I need a new sign for sure, but I have not looked into what they cost or anything.
Well, this will help you, maybe
Yeah,
motivate
yeah.
you to go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
And that's the whole idea of the facade grant is too. So when you go down and say, man, these businesses have cool looking signs or fit in with the community. That's the whole idea of the facade grant program. Okay. Yep.
And we've done it, we moved it around to where it's earlier now, so that businesses can get things done. You know, instead of waiting till October and the weather turns bad, you know,
Sure.
so.
No, we get the front of our building repainted probably every 2 years because we're on the south end exposure.
mm,
And that paint just don't last.
Yeah.
Any building out there that is wood, sort of say, and is dark colored, it's gonna,
mm.
it'll eat it up.
Do y'all feel like that like we would give you up to X number of dollars, we're
Yes.
talking around $1,000, you know, so.
I mean,
Anything's
1,000
helpful.
is reasonable. I mean, because if your average sign costs 5,000, then is 1,000 reasonable? I mean, I
Well,
don't know.
then we were also talking about if somebody moves,
Right.
you know, then we've got nothing, there's no improvement to the building, it was just the sign.
$5,000 sign for businesses at least, I mean, unless you're like a McDonald's or something, it's hard pressed in this area. I mean, I've had hand painted signs, she has hand painted signs. I had some metal cut down at the welding shop. $1,000 goes a very long way for signs in this area. I mean, I think I paid between 500 and 900 for certain aspects of my signs.
That's
And
it, it's adequate.
Okay.
And we have a provision as well that you could request more, but we'd have to, you know,
Yeah.
right now Randy and I are the committee.
Well, yeah.
I do like his comment though, like, I think you guys have a sign permit and I've always been a
Yes.
little surprised that there's no restrictions, like you could put neon, you could put.
It's in the code, or it's
Oh,
the
it
code
is?
that you, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless it's already like that, you cannot do lighted neon
Yeah, oh, okay.
stuff for
Right, we did
signs.
have that.
Backlit signs was a hot topic some years ago. I remember.
And it was obtrusive, that's for sure.
So does the board feel that it would be reasonable to add to line 13 or make it line 14 that a maximum allowable sign expense does not exceed $1,000 funded by the grant?
Just add it to 13.
Just add it to that.
Just add it to
Okay.
13.
Just let
Maximum
these
allowable
guys know.
1,000 on.
Or decide.
Toward the sign, yeah. So, any other questions about this document, or does anyone?
Everybody's fine with the map?
Yeah.
Okay,
We upgraded a little bit because one of our recently approved grants was Wolf Hotel. Now,
yeah, well,
what's it called now? But anyway, but Wildflower, and they were technically weren't part of the, but they were right at the corner. So we
Yeah.
included that. So
there's other businesses too.
It could be that way.
Same situation, so.
After the years, this is our what, fifth year facade grants, something around
I
there.
don't know.
And this is just kept basically making it better, more smoother, so when the ones that have been here all this time aren't here, then you folks can say, oh, this is clear.
Does anyone want to make a motion to approve it?
I'll make a motion to approve the facade grant with the change on number 13, basically capping the sign at $1,000.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and second to approve the facade grant application, adding to number 13 to cap the sign allotted cost at $1,000. Any more discussion?
Or the facade grant of $1,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's a final,
We're
make sure.
participating in it.
We're not gonna say Mr. and Ms. Business, we could only have $1,000 sign.
Right. Sorry, I didn't say that correctly.
Okay.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, new business item A, consideration of a request to paint a mural on a fence at 106 Second Street, Acacia Road. And this is for Candy's Coffee,
The original coffee shop.
the original coffee shop.
So my name is Acacia. I own Candy's Coffee at 106 South Second. We're just kind of trying to spruce up the yard a little bit. And, I've got a nice courtyard on the south side of my building, and it gets lost. It's just kind of hiding back there. There's a 6-foot fence about 40 feet back from the sidewalk. And it's just a big brown fence back there. So I would like to be able to paint some flowers back there to just kind of draw the eye to the yard and just kind of spruce it up a little bit.
Is that in the front yard or the back?
So the
The back
yard is
yard,
on the
to the side.
side, yeah, so the fence is at the very back of the yard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not the fence that's on the sidewalk, it's
Oh.
about 40 feet back from the sidewalk. I did talk to Penny and the dentist, Josh that owns Factory Fitness, Tiana Hutton at T Salon, and people at KLZR. They had a board meeting today, and nobody over there, those businesses that have to look at it, nobody's opposed to some flowers over there.
How about your neighbors to the south, which is Napa, all the way
Napa?
down, isn't it?
I didn't talk to them. They don't have any windows or anything that face that way. I don't see them having any
And
issue.
this is your fence, you don't share that with them?
No.
Okay.
And technically it's not my fence. I don't own the building. Chris Ralph owns the building and she has approved it.
If anyone's been in Candy's Coffee, Acacia has beautiful art in there, art that she's done. I know that you do a phenomenal job with this.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously I want it to look nice, so my plan is to do a stencil. That way there's no, I freehand it and it looks crazy. But obviously if it ended up not looking nice, I would paint over it with the same brown color and say, okay, well, we'll try again.
Oh, any coffee cups on there?
I know. Chris, she neutral, something that if I did leave, she's not stuck with coffee cups and sugar skulls, so.
Does anyone have any questions for Acacia?
Thanks for that.
Mark does.
As part of the Tuesday morning Hot Rod Coffee Club, I think it'd be a great addition.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
I make a motion that we approve this application for painted signs on an existing fence.
I'll second that.
Perfect, thank you.
Motion's been made and seconded that we approve painting signs on the fence at Candy's Coffee. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
I'd like to thank you too for coming down and talking to the board instead of just going out there and doing it.
Of course. Well,
That is a rule.
I know it's
I
a rule,
didn't
but
know
you-
it was a rule,
Yeah.
actually. My landlord was like, I don't know, you better talk to the town and just be sure. So I'm glad I did. I was super
Yes,
nervous,
I-
but
I
thank you
do-
guys
I
so
do
much.
appreciate that
Yeah,
very
of
much.
course.
Don't be nervous, we don't mind.
Good job.
Okay, item B is the sheriff's report. We have this.
In front of you, I have a graph that shows like the number of calls for service last year compared to this year, same time frame. And almost everything is down except for theft offenses is way up. And I looked into that a little bit, and some of our problems are coming when a resident.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right.
The presentation. I mean, and the question is listened to the discussion. You are.
All right, no big deal. But one of the crimes that we're seeing increasing is like disputes with contractors. And so a homeowner pays a contractor to do a job and they put a certain money up, and then there's a dispute and we kind of get caught in this gray area if it's a civil or if it's like a fraud or a theft. And so that's one of the increasing crimes that we see. Fraud offenses on your town, it shows that we're down for the year, and I'm glad to see that. But for the county, we're actually up. And some of the people have reported more sophisticated frauds. In one case, they received a phone call and they said that the clue that it was fraud is the person had perfect English and perfect pronunciation, and they actually suspected that it was an AI voice that they were talking to. And so it's very tricky. Sometimes they're very convincing. But the common denominator is if they tell you that you need to go buy a money card at Dollar General to pay the money, that's usually a sign that it's a fraud. And then I wanted to point over our stats for last year. Countywide, our major crimes are down 8%, nonviolent crimes are down 23%, and our traffic crashes were down 58%. Our average deputy has 17 years experience. The highest guy actually is going to hit 50 years of experience this fall. And 75% of those people are actually homeowners in the county. And we had one deputy from Canyon and he almost moved up here last year, but the interest rate was just a tiny bit out of reach, but he thinks this year that he'll be able to do that. And I talked offline with one of the trustees about our mental health program, and that's always been a big priority of the sheriff's office. We do have two clinicians. One is a PhD, and then his wife, who's actually like right away from getting her PhD. They both have 20 years experience in counseling. She specializes in children, and she worked at like University Health for her entire 20 years. And so they are available to us to call out 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, which is usually when these things happen. And we're not trying to duplicate services for other counselors that are in the office. This is just kind of a crisis thing. And in the past, the deputy's only tool is something called the M1 hold. So you go over to the person's house and you may end up having to fight them in the handcuffs. You drag them down to the hospital, you sign a form called the M1 form. And then the emergency room really can't help them that night anyways. And so by us having our clinician, he comes out, he talks to the patient, and then we skip that whole procedure and he calls an inpatient facility in Colorado Springs. And then we drive them up there instead of having, in some cases, we've had the ambulances do it. And so we've gotten a lot better results by getting them to the place where they really need to go.
And when did that person go into play?
Actually 3 years ago, but it took a while for the community to kind of accept it. And so now I would consider us running at full speed. They charge us the Medicare rate for their services, and we pay for that with the grant. And just because the sheriff's office is paying for it, they still have the patient privacy with their clinicians, so they don't come and tell us, what their findings are. They tell that to the doctor, the facilities receiving them. And we have gone over budget. Every year we've asked the commissioner for more money, but we're able to balance it in with our other budget items, but it is a priority for us.
What's an SA crime?
Sex assault.
Oh, okay.
And the one here for Westcliff actually happened some time ago, but the victim only recently came forward.
I see DUIs.
Or
There,
up to, yeah.
yeah,
What type of theft is that? That's gone up so much.
Yeah, so some people have asked me kind of like, what are the big problems we face in Custer County? And drinking is sometimes at the root of it. We have, perfectly good people that may have a little bit too much to drink, and then, one thing leads to another and they get arrested or get a DUI, but that is on the increase here.
Oh, the theft is what I said. The theft is up.
Yeah, the theft is up too, yes.
What constitutes like,
What kind of theft? I know you have burglary separate, so.
Yeah,
What the theft is.
is it like theft of services? Some of these things that are, like I was talking about with the contractors, that's sometimes where the crime falls.
Rich, how's our drug and all that kind of stuff going on? 'Cause I remember early days, we were pretty proud of not having much of that.
Yeah, so,
Did it increasing or?
well, last year we arrested the major cocaine supplier for the area. And so he's currently in the criminal justice system. So hopefully making it difficult to get up here. But we still have the police dog, which specializes in drug as well.
there was another thing I wanted to bring up too, about in fact, you were telling me that the lawyer has also looked into that, about these e-bikes.
Yes.
This,
So you said the lawyer had a presentation on that?
I had just asked him to do some research. I think we needed him.
So I will do some research and come back to you, but I have noticed a proliferation of very fast e-bikes going every which way. So
I guess it's Colorado Springs actually is pulling over a bunch of these e-bikes because they're really not e-bikes. They're actually, their rating is a motorcycle.
right.
So, I was wondering if there was anything that we can do about, checking on it to see what we can do about making sure that these people, if they're riding motorcycles, then that's a whole different animal.
I agree. So we haven't really enforced that. The biggest concern is that if you're 16 years or younger and you're riding an e-bike, a motorcycle, ATV, you have to have a helmet on, which some of the kids do not have. And then also we're talking eye protection as well. And so I will look into that and get back to you at the next meeting.
Now we can call your license plate number in, but for the bicycle, how do we say?
Right, yeah.
We think it was a kid on a red shirt on or something.
And there's actually several of these e-bike dealers actually in Custer County that sell the e-bikes.
Have you talked to them? That's one of my pet peeves always on, I used to do a lot of off-road riding on motorcycles and then the four-wheelers and all that. The dealers were requiring to educate them before they let them have the keys that, hey, you've got to treat this thing just like you're driving a car, stop at the stop signs and speed limit and all that. Maybe if our own dealers, could you pay a visit to them?
I sure could. And so we actually have a deputy, her name is Megan Sabatino, and she's our community service deputy, and she arranges all of our public events, but I'll have her touch with those dealers.
Catch it in the source.
I might talk to them about the ATVs also.
Okay.
Thank you.
I know the county approved ATV use on county road. And I was commissioner when we did that, but we required that they have the wildlife stamp on the vehicle and that they be able to provide proof of insurance if they were stopped. And I wonder if you have any enforcement, have you had any enforcement in that? I don't see that in here.
No, so I don't have that broken out on here. And the main thing we focused on is keeping them off the highway. So they're not allowed to ride on Highway 96 from the stop sign
No
down.
state highways. They get perpendicularly across.
They can cross it, but they can't ride along.
Correct.
Unless they're in ag,
And so, I'm sorry?
unless they're practicing agriculture.
Oh, okay, you're right. Yep.
So
So
if you put a shovel on the back of your ATV.
in Fremont County, they do the irrigation ditch patrol.
Yeah. Well, the town's a little different than the county on that respect.
I think we allow.
The towns did separate things.
yeah, we did, you have to have the
OHV.
placard, the triangle. That, I don't know what
Slow
it's
moving
called.
vehicle.
Right, you have to have that, and I don't remember about the insurance.
Well, you have to have the OHV stamp is what we
Yeah.
call for, which is you pay taxes every year to renew
Have
that,
that,
like a
yeah.
license plate. Then it's registered with the state.
I just,
Most of these ATVs don't even have plates on them.
Well, it's not a plate, it's a
sticker.
sticker. Mine have them.
Yeah.
Just,
It's a sticker
It's
that
a
you get from the
sticker.
state. You register with the state. And when you pay that fee, that money goes towards wildlife and state parks. They administer that.
okay, I was under the impression that an ATV also had to have a regular license plate.
Not in
Some states
Colorado,
do.
some of the other states do that.
Yeah, okay.
And what, I've seen some e-bikes that are definitely going over 15 miles an hour, which is our speed limit down. Is that, I mean, are you guys able to clock that? Is that even is that even something on your radar?
I don't know if the radar works on a bike or a bicycle, but our laser probably would. We have a laser, and it's a little more accurate. But I'll definitely check in that for the next meeting.
Just like I live over at the park and there's kids running over to the park all the time. And then you've got these bikes flying, you know, the cars are pretty good about slowing down. The bikes are like, it's a free for all.
When they're
And-
running the highway too.
Right, and it's a little scary. I'm fine with the bikes, but they need to follow the rules.
I agree 100%.
Fifth Street's like Indianapolis 500
Right.
for ATVs. I'm serious. I watch them. They don't even try to slow down for the stop sign at Powell. They just right on down.
I'll come back next quarter with a report on that for you.
Well, if it would help, I can chime in that it is possible under the law to enforce the speed limit on e-bikes. I will defer to the sheriff as to the practicality, wisdom, ability to do so, but the law does allow for it.
Any other questions for Rich?
I just want to know if you're going to be running a discussion of that other item because I want to ask
Oh,
about
yeah.
parking on Main Street.
Are you gonna be around for a minute? Can you stay for a minute or do you have to go?
I do have another meeting to talk at, but I can,
Well, I'll ask the question now then. How have you been actively enforcing the vehicle length on Main Street between Second and Third?
no, and the last time I came before the board last year, we had talked about getting a vendor to do the parking tickets. And so Silver Cliff actually did it, and we're running with the system, and we could add you to it if you sign the contract.
I thought we did that.
It was
The first step, yeah.
Is it that Clancy's?
Yeah, Clancy,
Yeah,
It was signed.
Yeah.
But we were waiting to put it into effect until we got our parking tickets aligned with Silver Cliff, so they were the same, and now they are. So now we could just re-sign the contract and run with it.
Okay.
And the benefit of that is, so like when the deputy is gonna enforce the overlinked vehicles, let's say they park down by the theater and then they gotta walk all the way back to Chappie's or, whichever business they're going to.
So far.
And then they're writing the ticket out, they're talking on the radio, what's the guy's address and stuff. With this new machine, all you do is you just type in their license plate, it prints it out. And there is a procedure the citizen can go through to contest the ticket, but it comes over to the sheriff's office.
So since we already, this is an attorney question, since we already had that signed like last year, so the board had already approved it, but now maybe it needs to be re-signed because it's a new year or now our fees match with Silver Cliff. Do we need to have a motion on that again, or can we just re-sign it?
I'd probably have to look at the actual agreement. If nothing's changed about the agreement and it doesn't need adjustment, it's probably already in effect. If it's not in effect, then it probably does need to go before the board.
Okay, hopefully if the only thing we were waiting for was to change our
change.
rates,
Right.
I mean, and I think the new rates were in that
Yeah.
Right.
contract, so
Sign.
So I could get that up and running in a week.
that'd be awesome. That'd be great.
And then also, we had talked, one of the common complaints to get us that fire lane right around the corner from a stage stop. And so on the busy weekends, people park there, but then the trucks can't make the turn.
That's state road, it's no parking marked by the state.
Right.
But you guys still have to enforce that, right? Or,
And this machine would let us do it.
okay.
I told them to be sure and walk around to the front because I had 3 times had people, I would say something to them and they'd say, well, I matched the line, but they ran up on the curb to do it. So the front end was
We
encouraging,
give a
so.
ticket for being on the sidewalk.
Yeah, it was, didn't, or, you know, I mean, it's just, I'm thinking that you might have to look for that too. It's a little extra there.
I can enforce that.
Yeah.
But if you don't mind, if you could just send me that contract, I'll send it to the vendor and they can actually add the data to the machine we already have that Silver Cliff got. And there is a small fee for that, but it comes out of their collection money, so it doesn't actually cost you or me anything.
Christie, last question I have is not town related, but I guess it is. Noticing these new cameras down right at Road and Bridge and Wetmore North, that's a good thing for us, I think, isn't it?
So those are not speed cameras. It is a flock license plate camera. And so we have 3 of those in the county. And if we're investigating a crime, in fact, the murder was one of the crimes. That's how we caught the bad guy, is with that system. He drove into the Walmart in Salida and we were able to start tracking him.
Thank you. That's a good thing.
Any other questions for Sheriff Smith?
Thank you, Rich.
Thank you.
Rich. We look forward to visiting with you next month.
All right, I'll have a report on e-bikes for you.
Right, you're right in. You're right.
Yeah. Me and my wife are actually waiting to get one, so.
Right.
Item C is Custer County Tourism Board report, Bianca.
And more. Get 2 for 1 tonight.
So we're not gonna take up much of your time. I'm Bianca, for those of you who don't know me, and this is Lauren Austin.
I'm Lauren Austin. We own West Cliff Suites, previously a Ravens property.
But we wanted to come here tonight and introduce ourselves. There's been quite a few changes in the Custer County Tourism Board. Lauren is the new chair of the tourism board. I am the vice chair of the tourism board. Wendy Rusk is now a board member and the treasurer. Roseanne is the new secretary. We have approached and received new board members, including Melissa from West Cliff Inn, another lodging property, but Wendy and Keely Benish represent the agricultural community. The retail is represented by Renee from Lady Unique Boutique and Lux Chocolate. We still have,
Iva at Lux.
Iva, what did I say? Renee is at the boutique and Iva is from Lux Chocolate, I apologize. And then we still have John Van Doren and Roseanne from previous, the previous board. And so we wanted to just come and introduce that and let you kind of know some of the new directions that tourism is going. We have an incredibly intense summer season, as you all know. And we have an incredibly intense, we don't really even call it an off season, it's 75% of the year really. So we as a board and chair and vice chair want to still maintain promotions of the summertime. It's pretty strong here, so I don't think it's going anywhere. We don't believe it's going anywhere, but we really want to focus on a more year-round economy. We're going to be doing a lot of things geared towards late fall, holidays, and winter visitation. West Cliff as a base camp, definitely a little cheeky in your face, not a resort. We don't want to be a resort town, but you can hike, the Rainbow Trail is 100 miles long. We have wilderness. You can camp, you can backpack, you can whitewater, you can, all that for most of the year. And then including, we were part of the business roundtable last year. And one of our main focuses is communication. So that's why we're here today. You guys were a wonderful supporter of the holiday events in conjunction with the business roundtable, the town of West Cliff, the town of Silver Cliff. And that is one of our main goals going forward. So you have anything else you want to add to any of that?
I think one of the cool things that we've seen over the last 2 months since the board voted for the change in officers is that a lot of organizations and businesses have reached out to us asking to help with broadening our scope of events that we post on the tourism website. So that's one thing that we are troubleshooting as a way to do that and be more inclusive, but also make it easier for the nonprofits, the businesses, the whatever to get their event information onto the tourism website. I'm trying to think what
Well, and
else.
within that website, we're doing,
We're doing a lot of
there was a
things.
shift, I mean, so much has been put towards the arts and nonprofits, which we're still gonna continue to support. But, there's going to be a really nice big project where, there's going to be a focus on all the business corridor and different categories. Those businesses who don't have a logo yet, we're going to help develop a logo, but then we're gonna have sheets of like, these are all our dining establishments, these are all our lodging establishments, these are all our specialty bakery, coffee shop, chocolate shop, liquor store establishments, so that as we do print and online social media or advertisements, we can promote all businesses fairly. Instead of saying, hey, while you're in town, go to this business, we can say, this is what you can do in the area, and here's where you can eat, here's where you can have coffee, here's where you can stay the night, and all businesses will be represented in those sheets. So those are some ideas we have, directions we're going, focuses that we're having. And we just really wanted to present them to you. There's gonna be a few things we might come to the town for in the future to help, keep the economy going more year round, but also encourage day trippers, focus on Pueblo, Colorado Springs, but, obviously overnight stays too, to get our tax revenue up and all that, so.
Question for you. Do you do a lot with the rodeo too?
So the rodeo, as well as other summer festivals have always been heavily supported, like through print and posters and online and stuff like that. So we are still gonna do maintenance on summer support, like now there's going to be a system, like we used to always do posters and it was kind of like an open-ended thing. So we've done posters in the past, it'll be capped at 2 hours. You can change the year, the date, and a little bit of design. And we will, through like, for example, social media and the website, promote that. But quite frankly, it is not only sold out, it is oversold. So is the Bluegrass Festival and a couple other weekends. So we're still gonna put it, we're not gonna take everything away from that support, but there's gonna be a what do I wanna say, like a maintenance,
Yeah, like as opposed to just like blasting out advertisement for events that as lodging establishments, we were literally sold out of like the year before.
Restaurants run out of food.
Restaurants run out of food, all of this.
Yeah.
So why promote them more?
Yeah, we're continuing, like Bianca said, a maintenance level of those summer events, but then focusing really on, as she said, the off season, but the majority season to promote events then as well. So I guess your question specifically with the rodeo
Well,
is
the
if
other
they,
events like,
yeah,
that you're talking, down at the Bluffs and.
Yeah, they still get support, but they're strong enough now where they can kind of run on their own.
Okay.
And they'll still get a capped level of support, events that have been supported in the past get up to 2 hours, 50 free posters, that kind of thing. If you're a new event, you get 4 or 5 hours and a larger, like to get you looking professional.
get you
And,
up and
yeah.
Have you ever thought also of getting more exposure through the TV networks out of the Springs?
we are actually, so we have I'm actually really excited about this. We have a publicist named Danielle that we are working with, and she literally Friday said, I can line up all of these news interviews for you. Just let me know when somebody is gonna be down the hill. So we are actively trying to coordinate that.
And she's been on the Custer County payroll for a year now, and it's not been taken advantage of yet. And there's some logistical, we gotta take a day to go down there, but yes, that's.
I see stuff on the news in the morning or, whenever I do watch it, and they're talking about events in the Springs and Manitou Springs and all these other things, but I never hear anything about Westcliff.
Well, and part of the shift is, events are great and we're gonna support events and promote events, but putting Westcliff on the map and everybody apparently we've learned, has their top 3 to 5 places when it gets to Wednesday or Thursday, like, hey, what are we doing for the weekend? And we really want to be clear that we're not trying to turn this into a resort town and be overrun 12 months out of the year. What we want to promote is the fact, it's amazing to me, I grew up in this state, nobody knows about the 100 miles of the Rainbow Trail. Quiet, respectful enjoyment of our natural resources, hikers, people who like to summit 14ers, people who like to, ice fish or fly fish. they don't even know about us. So a little bit more of a lifestyle shift in promotions. Like, come here if you want the quiet, respectful enjoyment, get away from the crowds. We don't want to become overrun, but we're very far from being in danger of that basically October through May. So we want to support the business community through getting more of a year round, as well as maybe not be quite as overrun the 4 months of, yeah.
I have a question about that. When you talk about kind of promoting the mountains to the people, I know back when the tourism board first started, we had found, because I was like one of the first members on that board, we had found that people that were coming to the mountains were not coming to our businesses. They were loading up on all their supplies and everything down the hill and just going straight up and bypassing town completely. So, and our merchants completely. So have you found a shift in that, or have you done any research on that now?
You know, I can speak to that if I start and you can follow up. You know, I think her name is Christy, perhaps as well. Cindy, who used to own Westcliff, and she has the same comment. And I have an extended stay. Lauren has an extended stay. I don't know if it's the shift in the era or the time. I get a lot of hikers, a lot of people who come and stay for several days to really experience different parts of this mountain range. But also, I think what's part of it's a more well-rounded, I don't want to say promotion, but like the website design and stuff, so that people didn't know. Even last year, we didn't know you have a grocery store. We didn't know you have a baker. Do you have restaurants? Like the first question, people are, where can you eat around here? Do you have restaurants? So we're trying to make it a little more of a well-rounded, let people know all the assets we have, so that when they get here, the first thing they do is check in, drop their stuff, head to dinner, have some drinks at a bar because we've got some fun ones in town. Where's the live music? The next day, hit a coffee shop. I mean, yes, there's still going to be some people who, you know, they'll hit the grocery store or whatever. But I've seen a shift in that. I think
I agree whether the guests, I feel like I get a lot of guest quality time where our guests share a lot of information with us, and whether they tell us they're hiking or not, my cleaners report whether they were hiking because they bring in a lot of dirt. But one of the things that we have been working on is to address that is fleshing out the itineraries on the website and making it a little more digestible at a glance too. But with like 1 day itineraries, and then at the end, a plug to stay the night, extend your stay, make it a weekend itinerary, and then a 5 to 7 day itinerary, including these hiking, trails and go out to dinner and do all of these things. So we really are trying to promote those hikers coming in and staying, hitting a 14er 1 day, enjoying the town, doing a drive, hitting another 14er, and promoting it that way, where it's not just a day destination, but at the least a weekend, if not 5 to 7 days worth of activities as Westcliff town as the base camp.
with kind of national and international temperatures, people are going back to the staycations again. We've, being, in contact with a lot of the other lodging properties, we're not the only ones experiencing this. This summer, there's a lot of people booking way ahead for 3, 5, 7, and 14-day trips, dead of July. Like, it's really kind of crazy. As well as we're kind of doing a little bit of skimming from our friends at Salida and Canyon City, because stay where there's a view as your base camp kind of a idea. Like, if you're going to be here for 7 days, go whitewater rafting, go fly fishing, go to Royal Gorge, but wouldn't you rather stay with this view instead of on Highway 50? Kind of like a nicely said, but why wouldn't you stay here instead of on the highway? So that kind of figures into that too.
Great. Any other questions for these guys?
Is the tourism office moving?
It has. So instead of it being there in the little pink building, it's temporarily in the SAG building, the St. Great Art Guild. And we just got some really really nice new wayfinding signs to direct people there, and we included it in our press release, and it's been updated on the website. And then long-term, hopefully we can make this happen. We're hoping for a location on 3rd Street. On Main Street between 2nd and 3rd Street, where it's more walkable for people to get that information, but that
There's a
is
location
still
in
the
mind that
works.
has yet to be voted on
Yes.
and pulled together, so yes, but hopefully right in the middle of the main block. But
I had
it's a
an
top secret,
alternative.
we'd have to kill you if we told you.
I need to bring you your dark sky flyers for the weekend stuff.
Yeah. Oh, and we also have heard, not sure if it's true, but I believe it is, that the Dark Skies is gonna be working with Jones Theater to have some kind of a remote, so over the winter time, we can also have people come for Dark Skies
We are
enjoyments.
working on that. We're getting very close to being able to basically go to any place that could hold people that we could hook into the internet. We can control the telescope remotely. But we would still have to have somebody at the telescope to make sure that something doesn't happen. And we've been discussing this with the folks at the Jones Theater quite a bit. And
Well, if that comes to fruition,
it's very close.
Yeah.
And we just upgraded our computer system inside this observatory, went from a Windows to a Linux system. And I proposed a few challenges for us, so we're still working through all those. But it's working. I mean, we can get through it. And the stuff that we did last weekend was very encouraging that we would be able to do that remotely. And we had been working with Barry, I think it's Barry King, on that, and another lady, I can't remember her name, at the theater. But the concept is once we get it working, we could go anywhere. We could go to the Valley Assisted and put a presentation up for them. Or we could go to the school, or we could go to Allport, Westcliff, any place where we could get a network connection.
So lodging properties really do get turnout and bookings throughout the year because of Dark Skies. So to be able to wrap that year round, where people could be inside in a warm place, know what they're looking at, and then go outside and look at it and go get warm, that would help.
Well, I don't know how much you guys know, but for 2 weeks out of every month, the SJO is open, Monday through Friday for private parties, and we do at least eight people a night usually. And many of those people spend the night in town somewhere. So, and I know that the schedule that I keep, the information we get from our online scheduling program is whether or not they plan on staying overnight. Did they come here just for the Smoky Jack Observatory, or is it just like a sideline? And do you plan on eating and staying and all this? So we have quite a bit of information about that, and the majority of people come here specifically for the SGO. And
Well,
then they'll
definitely, as
spend
it
the
gets updated, let tourism know.
Yeah.
You know where to find
I
us,
know,
our
I know.
phone numbers are on the.
Yeah, you can walk down Main
I don't know
Street.
if Steve McAllister, who used to be our SGO coordinator, if he ever shared any of that information with Tourism Board about how many people were coming into the valley and specifically for that, but it is pretty significant. It's not as many people as the rodeo, but, you know. It's
year round.
consistent.
It's year round,
You know,
yeah.
it's consistent. And, you know, and if we can do the presentations in the off season, because once September comes, end of September, we shut down the SJO because it's just too darn cold out there. And then we don't start up until May. And so far this year, we've had a couple good events down there, but like tonight, it's canceled. Raining, and the rest of this week is kind of iffy, but anyway.
Any other?
No, I just had one question. Have you guys figured out a way to tap into some of the statewide events? Because I know when we had Ride the Rockies up here, it was a huge deal. The only problem was it was the end of the journey. So everybody just had somebody pick them up and they got out of here. It'd be better if we could find ourselves being one of the staying points. You know, one the overnights in that process. And then there's another whole, Mark has met these kinds of guys at the coffee shops and around. There's a huge element of European travelers that are coming through on the dual purpose dirt bikes that are highway friendly and that can take off-road
The
stuff.
America Trail.
Yeah.
I used to get a
was
lot
talking
more
to a guy
people from
who's-
that, and I haven't in years, so I don't know what happened there, but.
Well, the guy I was talking to said that you show up on all of our maps.
Mm.
And I said, well, I'd like to see your maps.
Mhm.
If you're gonna do that, we'd like to plug in maybe some extra things in there.
Mhm.
I mined around on the internet for a while. I didn't find anything, but it might be something to take a look at because these guys hit the East Coast. And they're
From North Carolina
they
goes
take
to
their
Oregon.
route. Absolutely.
Well, we're-
Some of them come up, a lot of them come in through Texas. They come up that way. So I mean, it's just a really viable market.
Well, we, anybody who can find information like that and just drop us a note, we really are very happy to receive it and put it on. So, yeah, just.
Yeah, the transcontinental route, there's, the main line comes through Pueblo, Wetmore, it splits. And one goes through Canyon up Route 9, and the other one comes up through here. I can't remember what this one's called, the West Coast Express or something. And years ago, Brent Bruiser and I tried to get the state to put more signs up, and they said, well, we're reconsidering all our signage, and I don't know if it ever happened, but I don't know if a lot of the transcontinental people realize that it's a formal route through here. And, I mean, there's web pages like Hot Shower, I know some of these writers use, and it could be exploited more, I suspect.
Well, any of those ideas anyone finds, wants to shoot them our way,
Okay.
please do.
Spare time.
Yeah, right? Yeah, we should have a county email, hopefully next week is the plan.
But either way, our cell phones are always on us, so.
Well, I have here and Mike and Patty have been successful business owners on Main Street for a long time. And
21 years.
that's a long time. But have you, well, that's pretty much when tourism started or right afterwards. But have you, with all the efforts that these ladies and previous tourism, I mean, on your year to year, you know, can you say, hey, yeah, this helps our business?
Definitely helps our business.
Okay.
One of the things that I'm looking forward to is the map that comes out. Is that coming out here pretty soon?
It's coming out
I'd
again,
heard
yeah.
that it was supposed to be before Memorial Weekend.
Well, with some of the transitions that's been happening fairly quickly and intensely over the last few months, a couple of things had a little bit more of a hiccup, but Shelley Jo Design is still working with tourism. The map is finishing up. Her father unexpectedly passed away, so she had to leave for about 3 weeks, and so it is on the way. It'll be passed out.
It's a real good, I think a lot of people
Yeah.
look at that map.
Great.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Item D is in consideration of a request to appoint Mark Domboski as a trustee. We have a vacant seat and we have 60 days from the election to appoint someone. I did ask if we had done any advertising for this seat, and what I was told is that, you know, we just had an election and nobody wanted to run. So Mark said, hey, I will do it. And I kind of feel that we need to advertise it a little bit so that nobody thinks that we're handpicking people. Not that I think anybody's gonna be interested, but I just think it's kind of the right thing to do, but that's my opinion, and we have someone can make a motion, not discuss this. Is that rain?
Yes.
Tail.
Tail.
I hope it's not even.
A little moment of silence?
Yeah.
For all the plants and seedlings.
Moisture, but
Are we in the 60-day process?
Yeah, what it would be, April, we have until the June meeting.
It was April 7th was the election.
Good.
So we have to make a decision.
Legally, do we have to put it out?
I mean, I was told from the election official at the state that if it's within 60, since it was following an election, we have 60 days that we can just appoint. Because of what Christy just said, if
We didn't have any.
someone was interested, they would have run. But I can run that if you'd like to.
Well, but then if we didn't get any well, regardless, we would have to have a special meeting before our June meeting to appoint someone. And if we had like a few people interested, then we should interview them, visit with them. But if we don't want to mess with any of that and we go with we had an election and nobody ran, and Mark put a letter in, we can just make a motion to appoint Mark.
I make a motion and we appoint Mark. Seems to be the a concerned citizen that wants to serve on the board. And if there were more concerned citizens, they would have potentially ran.
She doesn't do enough.
Does anyone want to second that?
That's second. I gotta live next to him.
Vice versa.
You had an inside sister that's on the other side.
Motion's been made and seconded that we appoint Mark to the seat. Any discussion?
Well, yeah, the discussion is, yeah, it helps me because I lost Paul, mayor. So now I'm the lone second streeter, so. Thank you.
I'd like to make a comment. Sure. I mean, I don't know if the people in town remember that I did resign last year, but not because I didn't want to be on the board, I was just too ill to do it.
Are you doing better?
Yeah, yeah, and I gotta say, okay, remember we got interviewed by the Channel 5 guy?
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
They interviewed us a half an hour, we were on for 47 seconds, and what did he call us? Old guys?
Oh, yeah, it was.
Old timers.
I considered it derogatory. I don't know why, but I didn't like it.
Well, I gotta admit, there are some old timers on this board, that helps me. And nobody knows what their future will be health-wise, you know? And I'm feeling great, I'm active and all that. But I've thought about this, and when my wife and I were in Fremont County, raised our kids down there, we were young. We had babies and everything else. We were involved in all kinds of stuff. RE2 school zone, all the rest of it, Beaver Park water, and so on. The younger people, I'm gonna say younger is anybody less than 65, maybe that works, huh?
Young.
Yeah, you're young. Wow, flattering at the mayor already. They need to stand up at some point, right? I mean, if they care about the town.
I agree.
So, I just think that the people of town should know that we are old stuff, souls, and they need to do their job. So I'm up for it though, and if you guys appoint it, I'm ready to do business.
Did you keep his nameplate?
Yes.
We're saving a little money that way.
I'll just say for discussion's sake, my only issue was was about transparency, and I feel that sometimes people, they don't feel comfortable running for an election, but they don't have as much of an issue being appointed. And the other thing, I do agree that, you know, people need to pay attention and be more aware. And I got on this board when I was 29, and it was, I didn't know anything, and it was like, how does this, who runs it? Who's making these decisions? I want to be involved with that. And so we need more people to do that.
So, as I said, I think other people should get involved. I'm willing to be on the board now, but I also understand what you're saying. And if there are some young people under 65, let them come forward.
So we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So then will I swear him in at the next meeting? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I don't
So
get paid now, huh?
yeah,
Double what you
0
got
times
before.
0 is still 0. So item E, which is going to be a little contentious, and I'm making some notes, so I can hand these out to everyone. Consideration of request to close Main Street from 2nd to 3rd Street during the summer, beginning next year. I had some businesses ask me about this, so I felt the appropriate thing to do is discuss it and get the temperature of the board and see if we even can pass these out to everyone. I made enough for everyone. See what anybody even thinks. I think it would be long-term, a long time discussion. However, we start doing budget in July. We're talking about budget in July, and there would need to be, I feel, ample budgeting toward signage, towards, and these are just my thoughts that were off the top of my head. So this can be added to, you guys can shoot me down and say, no, I'm good. But I just, since some businesses brought it to me, I felt it's appropriate to bring it to everyone here. Some notes, there are some things that have to be considered. I feel it's easy to say, oh, well, we'll just add more handicap spaces closer to second and third, but you can't, because there's people with mobility issues or age that the idea of having to walk an extra block or two, they may not have the handicap placards, but they struggle with walking. So that might make it a bad idea. Also, the library is a big thing right there on Main Street because that gets a lot of use. What about people that have offices that they access daily and they need to be able to park close? Like, I work at Sangre Solutions, and we do park on the side of 3rd Street, and if all of a sudden that's being filled up and they go to work there every single day, Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday at this time of the year, how does that look? I do think that as we get busier, Main Street is becoming more and more dangerous, particularly, maybe this will change if we start getting some enforcement, but with the over length, you've got people kind of doing this. I see people going this way, well, there's a parking space on this side, so they just flip a U right there. And I didn't even know that was legal, but people do it. You got kids dashing out between cars all the time. And there's just some scary things that I think that even if we don't want to do this, I think we need to revisit how we're going to handle parking for safety reasons down on Main Street, or the 200 to 300 block. So I just feel that this is an opening discussion. If you guys say, absolutely, we don't even want to talk about it, fine, make a motion as such and it dies right here and I've done my due diligence. But if you think it's something we should maybe kick around a little bit, take the time to survey our businesses and see what they think. In my opinion, I thought at the 4-way stop, you could route people north on Highway 69 to North Street and then bring them down to 2nd, put a 3-way there at 2nd and Main so vendors and people can get down to the grocery if they need to, but then they're coming across, they're seeing our 2nd Street businesses that they may not be seeing otherwise to get to the parking lot, which obviously we have to do a lot more signage and stuff. And then there's that little bridge. They come up at the bridge and they're down by Greenstone and they're seeing businesses that they may otherwise not see or be interested in seeing because maybe they're just like, I just want a coffee. I just wanted to throw it out there and see if you guys wanted to continue the discussion or not. And we have some businesses here, so you might as well get your guys' opinion because I want it anyway. I'm gonna come get it.
Well, we talked about this when we were,
I was asking.
Well, what we're concerned about is a lot of times we get people that have never been to West Cliff and they've missed the turn at the stop sign. We would never see them if they were routed around. It doesn't matter if it's summer, winter, whatever. That's probably, I don't want to say a big part of our business, but we see it almost every week.
Impulse.
Yeah,
Got those impulse customers that way.
It's the reason why we've always kind of shied away from the idea of having a truck route that would bypass town completely.
Right.
Makes sense.
One of my concerns also is we're right next door to the library, so we see the older people that are handicapped. They don't have the placards, but they're struggling to get from their parking space to the library once a week or whatever. Or the lady that lives out 20 minutes away and she's just coming into town to get a card and a small gift for a neighbor or a friend do you really think she's gonna park in one of these other parking spots and then walk onto Main Street to buy a card and a small gift? She's not gonna do it. That's what we're concerned about. I do see the kids that are crossing with where they shouldn't be, but we were hearing tonight that they're gonna start having like a gentleman or a company out there checking the cars that are parked too long.
Overlegs.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
and over limit or over the limit. So that may help there, but I'm really concerned about closing down that part of Main Street.
It's been brought up before, in 21 years we've been there, I think this discussion has come up, or topic has come up.
At least 3
At least
times.
3 times about it, and there's a lot with it that could benefit as far as making it a walkway during the summer, but gotta understand, summers are bread and butter for us, for those impulse people that come out.
You know that, we see the sales tax numbers.
Yeah, we see it, and it's huge. I mean, during the winter, it'd be nice, to try to see about getting stuff in with events and different things coming as far as try to get business for people that way, but to close it in the summer is gonna be a hard deal.
So how many spaces do we have on the 200 block of, do you know?
22.
22.
It was more before because they were angled. Now on this
I
last
steepened the
page,
angle, so the tail end shouldn't be sticking out as
Right.
far,
Yeah,
but
but
you
that-
did
that-
lose some
you lose
spaces
some
because
space.
of that.
we noticed that difference just with people.
Pickups get bigger and
They do.
Right,
I know.
right, and it's hard.
Randy had it,
Okay.
Randy.
We've talked about it several times. And even when you and I were on the board, we discussed this. We would have a very big issue with getting service vehicles in and out of there.
Yeah.
Grocery stores or, anybody making deliveries. If you close it down too, you're gonna start getting people, again, parking in the alleyways.
Oh, yeah.
And then jamming that up, and then you can't get your service vehicles like the trash trucks and all those other people through. I was wondering though, instead of just doing it all summer long, maybe to do it just on 4th of July and Memorial Day. Close down Main Street for that,
Just like for those weekends,
just like the
to
car
try
show,
it out.
just like you do for the car show. Just for between second and third, and you also gotta consider the fact too, now, these trucks and everything, they're gonna be running down residential streets. Cars are gonna be running down residential streets. So now you've got a problem with traffic control. So it's,
Well, if you don't mind me saying some of that, closing on event days like you're talking about,
yeah,
let's compare that to the community dinner. The community dinner, I mean, it's a great thing to get everybody all together in that, but in the years that it's been on, we've come to an accept, I guess we did just accept it, that we have zero business that day.
yeah.
That we just don't, people, because they close the street, then they gotta set the tables out. And it's great to get that much people in our community for a dinner, but the businesses, at least we've just accepted that that day is gonna be a zero sales day because they close the street at noon, 1 o'clock, and that's it. We might as well just close the doors because we're not gonna get
Do
business.
you think closing Main Street on like the 4th of July and Memorial Day
Well,
would be,
the car show is a different deal. We
Yeah.
see a total flip on that because we do have a lot of people on Main
Yeah.
Street looking at the cars. And they do come in the shops.
Mhm.
We noticed the difference when it was moved to the end of the street down there in the park in the dirt.
that was.
That was
Yeah.
a big, complete
Well, the
loss
car-
of sales
When
that
I
day.
hear the car people said, we won't even come down if you're gonna set us in
Yeah,
that
so
park.
that, we saw that when it was moved away, but
Chuck had a.
Yeah, I was gonna say, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember a couple of years ago this came up. And I remember that Caleb said that he went and he canvassed every single business on Main Street. And the majority of people did not want to have the road closed. So,
Yeah.
Mark?
Wasn't there an idea some years ago to make it one way, east to west? People could still,
that was Jim Van Dorn's deal. He put that out at one of the planning commission meetings.
I don't know. I think that would take more people into the
Yeah.
residential area than,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So how would you get back?
Yeah, I just,
They went through the town.
if the board doesn't think this is something that should be discussed, I'm fine with that. But I do think that, especially with budget coming up, we do need to start directing people, because we are getting so busy, particularly in the summer, to our parking lot, which is huge and great and nobody uses it. And now if we've got more signage and thing that might be coming, and I do think we need to revisit whether it's parallel parking, something. I feel Main Street is pretty unsafe, Bianca.
Just a slightly of that on the guy, and I'm glad to hear you're talking about that parking lot and maybe signage towards that, because one of the things that tourism wants to maybe work together with the town is, as much as, sometimes when the street is closed or people, they don't go into the downtown, but at the same time, our town is so quick sometimes. If you're driving through, if you turn right, if you blink, you're gone. Like, if you've ever been on a road trip, once you turn right on 3rd Street, you're not turning back around to come back. You're now gonna spend your money in Salida. We're gonna ask for like wayfinding signs to that parking lot turning left. 2nd Street already has some businesses on it. I know that last time I was listening and heard this discussion, there was something about the residential people. If you start guiding people around the block, but eventually as this town grows, where do you want it to grow to? And I don't know if in the 9 years that I've been here that I've ever seen a safe situation along. I mean, it doesn't matter how far you angle those, somebody with a bike rack has to park there, and then the contractor parks there. I mean, you're weaving in and out. So I kind of like the idea of maybe put handicap parallel parking by the library or something to, somehow more parking has to come off of that 3rd block. But where do you put them? Maybe that's the discussion. How do you direct them to your parking lot? Because there is a parking lot. How is that best used? Maybe that's a discussion instead of, do we close it?
I think that parking lot needs to be a discussion regardless, and I
Yes.
think we need to plan on budgeting some money toward not just a big blue sign up in the corner on 2nd Street that I can't even see unless I'm looking for it, to direct people to parking down there.
And another situation we need to address too is if on that parking lot, and it's gonna be expensive, but we need to pave it so we can stripe it, so you can actually get more vehicles in there. And over the years, I've noticed that parking lot on the holidays does get filled up.
Yeah, but that's just the holidays.
I'm sorry?
That's just the holidays. I mean,
Well,
there's,
yeah, but I mean,
I'm just thinking of what I'm thinking of actually is Fridays when the farmer's market is going on and there are people walking everywhere and there are cars parked everywhere, and I'm scared to death to go up because I'm gonna hit someone, or I'm gonna hit a car, or I'm gonna hit a person, and I'm not gonna mean to do it.
That's a tough piece.
So, yeah, if you close Main Street, then all those people can't park on Main Street, so
Well,
it's.
I'm afraid if we close it for vehicle traffic, we might be encouraging more of that cafe type seating where the businesses will be moving out onto the sidewalk with their, and they'll say, well, we're not affecting parking, we're not affecting traffic, so now maybe we all need to have that space out there.
We do have an ordinance in place on people using.
Yeah, they need a seating permit. They're supposed to come in and get a sidewalk seating permit, pay the fee, and
But you make more room for it, they're gonna have more of it.
Which
That's what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
think that's necessarily a bad thing, but I have talked to restaurants down there that say they would like to put that cafe seating out like kind of what was allowed during COVID, but they're scared to death of a kid falling off the deck, and people are crazy driving down the street and that's gonna be on their head, so then they don't wanna do it, and it's a nice feature, but I just think that, because I'm kind of, the temperature to me is sounding like we don't want to do this and that's fine. But I just feel that we really need to talk about the parking down there and
Well, I'm
'cause it's
definitely not
scary.
for killing it tonight. But if we're gonna talk about planning, we really need to get together and be serious about that. And look at the traffic flows and that sort of thing. And we have all the tools to do it. I mean, we're mapping and photography over at the courthouse and show us everything that we need to know.
What about maybe doing a workshop?
Yeah, I
Get some
think
business
so.
people and
I think-
some of us together to just come up with maybe some alternatives, some more thoughts and.
Probably a workshop on a Monday because most all the businesses are closed on. Except for you guys.
Except us.
Right?
We're always open.
And I would say if maybe before we would do this workshop, if we maybe put together a little like questionnaire, that way if businesses couldn't come, but they wanted to be heard,
Voice their
we
opinion.
could get, so we're really
Yes.
hearing from everybody.
Well, you summed it up pretty well right here as far as what we would get out to people. These are all the questions involved.
I have a question. How long ago did we narrow Main Street down on the second? I mean.
Down, like, what do you mean?
Like, the 200, what is that, the 200 block? That street's been narrowed. The sidewalks were expanded and the actual street was narrowed.
Well, I don't remember, I think that
Oh,
was my time.
That was before us.
That was before us, that's for sure. It's been the same since.
I remember when they
Years.
rolled
I
those buildings around.
remember the sidewalks being narrow.
The sidewalks used to only be about 4 feet wide. Now they're what, 6 to 10 or 6 to 8?
What are they now?
And they cut down a lot of the.
6 in places, but you got the trees in the way, you've got tables in the way, benches in the way,
Right.
so.
And that's always been Randy's always been concerned about the accessibility with all those tables and everything in the way that people with a wheelchair or whatever can't navigate that.
People walking on Main Street, like, we have to leave 42 inches, you put two people side by side. You're over the 42 inches, people can't even walk down.
Yeah, they're done.
A lot of those roads, sidewalks.
I mean, so there's a lot to discuss. So I don't know, because it's consideration request to close Main Street. I don't know if we can change that motion to maybe be a consideration to, I don't know, discuss better usage.
Have we
of-
entertained businesses coming and asking? to have
No,
it
we
closed?
don't, but it's how it is a consideration of request to close Main Street, but I'm not saying that should, maybe that's not the continued discussion, maybe the continued discussion is safety on Main Street,
Right,
and
right.
and then we talk about, if closing Main Street is realistic, Bianca.
Can I ask, I mean, this is a growing town and it's growing quickly every year. The state of Colorado in general is growing. Like, has the board ever considered, like, at some point, that Main Street just isn't big enough? Like, where is the flow gonna go? Like, are you trying to get people, like, tourism, we would love it if people turned left on Third Street. You're talking about Second Street. The sheriff comes in and, well, if they're too long or not, which over the last 4 years, I've never seen a truck park around the corner and, so everybody seems to be having a different conversation. Is there even an idea or a concept where, as this town grows, where do you want the flow to go? Like, when you're describing this, and I'm not exactly sure, like, I'm thinking it's going down a dirt back alleyway.
No, so
It's already
north,
going
so at the four-way stop, if you go north on 69 and then you take that the first left is an alley, the second left is North Street that takes you to the feed store. And then you would turn, and then north turns to Second, it bends to Second. So I'm thinking you'd have to put like a three-way stop there. And then you take people across right past our businesses on Second Street, turn them right at Olive Board Westcliff, and they're at the parking lot. So they're seeing businesses on Second Street, whereas on Third Street, there's residential once you get to the alley on Third. it turns into residential. So
But is there an idea of, as this town grows, where do you want the traffic to go? Everyone, there's businesses on Second Street, but the residences on Second Street don't seem to want people to go there. And, Third Street, right away, you're into residences, but that's how you get to the parking lot. That's the city parking lot. Like, maybe a good starting point would be like, okay, let's say we really double our traffic and we want people to frequent our now 5-block long Main Street instead of the 2 blocks we currently have. Like, what would be the ideal traffic pattern? And then maybe that leads to like all of these topics, because I don't know that in the years I've ever heard of, as this town grows, how will that look?
right. I will tell you that the town used to stop at the theater, and if anybody had ever said there was gonna be a grocery and a big park down further, I told you you're crazy, right?
There was a category just beyond.
Yeah.
Everybody busted a U right there.
That grocery store used to be a junkyard.
Yep. Mark?
From what I'm hearing, and you mentioned what the motion says, it sounds to me that the consideration to close it is no, but somebody said you'd have a workshop, and that's where you could discuss traffic patterns.
Yeah, I mean, if you have an overview of what you want to eventually become, then the parking lot, and where do you direct people to, like, all of that falls into place. Do you just park on one side of that 300 block and do you put it into one lane? Like, all of that falls under, like, as this town goes forward, what's the ultimate end goal?
I think you should to fix 2 problems. So we have a drainage problem in the alley and they can't deliver right back there because it's all iced up and stuff. So what if you build over the business's parking garage? That'll fix all the parking and it will fix no more
The
ice.
ice on the south side of the street.
Helicopter pad, yeah, you could.
Oh my.
Well, I think.
Oh my gosh, is there like, is a newspaper here? Because that's gonna headline.
I think that what we found out is the discussion needs to continue.
Yeah.
One thing I want to just make a last comment here is that I have worked in 16 different counties in the state in 50 years. And every town that did things to damage their main street regretted it. Look what Canyon City has done. They've got that great attraction of the river and the river walk and the railroad down there. And they have a major highway that divides it from their main street.
Yep.
And they have fought that for years, trying to fix that. Buena Vista has had a main street that was dying, and until they actually put something at the other end of Main Street at the river, they couldn't get anybody down there. So all of those businesses thrived as soon as the town did something. But you cannot let your Main Street die or you don't have anything, because that's where your historical buildings are, that's where your commerce is, and that's where the traffic ought to be. But what kind of traffic, I think, is what we're talking about here.
And I will just tell you guys, I did call Salida. I haven't gotten a call back. I spoke with someone in the office, and Christy Dune, who's the administrator, wasn't in, so I couldn't talk to her. They gave me the mayor's number. I left him a message. Because it was, the board didn't know, because they started this in COVID and they started closing F Street during the summer since then. And people were either really for it or really against it. They took it to the voters this year. And 2/3 of the voters voted in favor of it, and to continue through 2029. But they finally took it to the vote to end it. And I'm not saying we need to do that, but I'm saying I feel we need to have a discussion about our Main Street so that it can be better used for our businesses in the summer. It can be safer for our tourists and our merchants and our local people. And I'd like to have a workshop about this. Now, I know this is a terrible time of the year to start having workshops because our merchants are about to go gangbusters. So then I guess the next question could be, because for me, this all comes back to budget. If we didn't want to visit about this because we're going into summer and maybe we want to kind of test out how it goes with the new parking ticket people, could we at least maybe consider putting X amount of dollars in the budget to put toward parking or signage or some sort of verbiage like that, so that we could maybe visit about this with our merchants come fall when it slows down for them?
Because
Just a little quick side note of information. So I grew up in Manitou, and Manitou in 1978 was like Westcliff is now. Nobody believes me, but it was. You could walk down Main Street 9 months out of the year, nobody would even hit you. Over the years, my mom and dad both had retail spaces. Parking became an issue. Then parking became contentious. Ultimately, parking was one of the main reasons I moved from my business. I shut it down, rented out the building and moved because I was now told that I had to park in a lot that was 4 blocks up the valley, wherever. People came to blows over it. People said they would never come to Manatee again because it wasn't addressed quickly enough. And what would happen is, it's the same situation like kind of, you have starting here, where if you go into Manitou, all of the parking spaces are full and then you're out of Manitou. And now you're ticked because it took you bumper to bumper on the highway to get in there. There was no place to go and there was no direction. There was no
everybody driving down
directional.
the streets looking for a parking place.
What's that?
When you go to Manitou, everybody driving down the street is looking for a parking place.
Exactly. And it took probably 7 or 8 years of buying up certain lots and turning them in. Then they have the kiosks. But then they have to permit out the side streets now because there was problems with that. And then people were angry. So I just wanted to say that little bit of information because I probably won't come to the workshop. I will be busy.
The highways go and they bypass those towns.
And they bypass them. And
Bypass Manitou, 50 bypass Canyon City. 160 is just about to bypass Pagosa
Yeah.
Springs.
And right here in this town, it's the intersection of 3rd and Main. Like you have parking places, but nobody knows about them. And then you have a traffic problem and then you have a Main Street parking problem. So I just wanted to give you that little extra, because even though Manitou is what it is now, it's not what it started to be. But that conversation not being looped in early enough created a decade of contention. So
I'd rather be on the front end.
Exactly.
So-
Be active instead of reactive.
What do you guys think?
I think there needs to be a lot more signage for the parking areas that we have. I agree with Randy about paving it and making it pretty and maybe put in a electric charging station to encourage people to park over there.
I don't crazy
We could move the other one. That would be the best thing to do.
Well, that was a plan like 4 years ago, was to pave that parking lot and put chargers over there, more sidewalks to get to Main Street with signage. And I don't know what happened to that. I do know that safety's always been an issue by the parks and down Main Street. And I've been tasked to put up those, bolt in the striped lines, the crossing to slow traffic down, and also to put up speed limit signs that are closer to eye level on a vehicle, not up there on the big stop sign up there high. So I think that helped last year and the year before doing that. I'll do it again here this week. It's planned to get in there before Memorial Day weekend. So hopefully that'll help slow people down and
I also feel that Custer County as a whole, at least I don't feel that we are very pedestrian friendly in the way of, I will go to other communities that are touristy, like Uray or Durango, and I mean, here you've got a highway running down, and you can just look like you're gonna cross the street and people just stop, and and we don't have that here. Like, people get kind of mad, like, I dare you to try
they
to
come
cross
here
right
to
now.
be in the Wild West.
Evidently.
Kill people.
Right. I'm fine. I don't mind if we want to start talking about this, scheduling some workshops now, but I'm also fine if we want to wait till the fall so that we can really include our businesses. I don't want to start bringing this up to our businesses when the busy season literally starts this weekend and is going to run until September. So I don't want to do anything to hurt them, but I don't want us to be making this decision by ourselves.
Good point.
I would like to keep it on the agenda every month until
Okay.
the fall, so that we can add things to it.
And I will tell you, I don't know what retail
Get
experience
people in
is
it.
here, but as lodging in this town, it used to be Memorial Day forward. But that's changed years ago. I mean, we are still slow till the second or third week of June. You could plant some seeds in people. I don't know what you guys experience in retail. I mean, if you guys are busy, then never mind, but we really kick off like.
But you're
Yeah,
right.
July explodes, but in June, there's still
June,
2 or 3
the
weeks
first
of.
couple of
like, you
weeks
gotta
after
get there, you
Memorial
might get some
Weekend.
attendance.
People are kind of still,
Some kids are still in
Shut.
school
Yeah,
until the
it's
middle of
That's the
June.
trend,
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, if there's gonna be, if you're kind of seeing on the tourism board that it's more of a staycation feel this year because gas prices are so high, then it could start a little earlier this year. It's not, okay, never mind. I'm-
Well,
Yeah, the third week of June, we're starting to book out and that's because of a wedding, but other than that, it's
with us
week
in,
by week.
in retail, our busiest month is July, that's obvious. But our second busiest month is December.
Yes, yeah.
And then you
June,
got
guys-
June, and then you have
August.
August,
they're
they're about the same.
Jerry, you've been quiet, but Trinidad's done a decent job when they're downtown, right? Or how's the downtown temperature in Trinidad?
Problem in Trinidad, they get 18 new businesses each year and lose 20.
Not being crowded.
No, downtown Trinidad, doesn't have any street like our one block here. I mean, but you have, 2 or 3 antique stores back to back, and you lose a lot of little places to go for shopping. So, I don't think Trinidad's a good example at all.
We'll make sure. They've got brick streets, I know that.
Should we change how it gets put on the agenda going forward? Because it's not really consideration of, it wasn't request to close it per se, it's.
Consideration of parking and safety in downtown Westwood.
I mean, if your goal is to not necessarily take action on any given agenda item, then you may just want it as a discussion topic, and then you can kind of be free to, eventually you may want to make a decision and then you'll put it on the agenda with an action item, but I see no issue with keeping it as a placeholder discussion item.
So we just table this?
Just keep it on the agenda, what I like what Chuck said, discussion of safety and parking on Main Street. And then,
I liked your idea of putting some money in the budget to pave that.
yeah, I think we need
I don't know if it gets paved or
look
not, but
into that,
it'd be
maybe.
nice if that lot looked
Maybe
nicer.
it'd be better.
People would use
Put
it
a
more.
park on the edge of it,
Another part, great.
Moving walkway.
There you
We got that
go.
ditch there, we can make it a water park.
We
right
could.
there.
That's
Well,
what-
it's kind of like a muddy, dirty.
Oh, yeah, we brought it up.
Wow, okay.
Once before.
Okay, so, I guess that we can move forward, with item F, which is consideration of.
So we table this?
Well, we're just gonna keep it on the agenda for discussion. I asked Jerry to come up when we get to committee report. Item F is consideration of request to appoint Kit Shy as mayor pro tem. Does anyone else want to nominate anyone else to do that position? You can have a vote.
Do that work? Please, you're already on board, I'm a new guy, so.
But you were mayor pro.
I was mayor pro tem, that's true.
But you got some hints.
Carry on.
I move that we have Mr. Shy be mayor pro tem.
Second it.
Motions is made and second that we appoint Kit Shy as mayor pro tem. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. And Kit's abstaining. Let the record show that Kit abstains from that vote. Item G is a consideration of request to remove Paul Winkie, Kathy Rice, and George Mowry from the town United Business Bank account. We went down to add our names to the account, and it turns out all of these people are still on there, and the bank needs a formal motion from us to remove them. So, does anyone?
I make a motion to remove Mr. Winkie Mrs. Rice and Mr. Maury from the UVB accounts.
I'll second
The motion get approved? Yeah, the last motion.
Yeah.
Approved.
Yeah.
Good.
So we've got a motion and a second to remove Paul Winkie, Kathy Rice, and George Maury from the town UBB account. Any discussion? All those,
Weren't you a signer also at one
I
time?
was trying to think if I was.
You are still on there. Yeah.
I guess that's okay.
I-
Trust me not to
well,
do anything goofy in the
She
next-
asked me about it and I knew you were gonna be appointed as a trustee most likely, so I just left you on there just for the general fund.
Okay with me.
any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all those opposed, motion carries. Do we have any additions to the agenda? Okay, now we have staff and committee reports. I asked Jerry Pearl to come up because he's our project manager for the project south of town. So if it's okay with you guys, I'll let him go first real quick so he can head out if he wants to.
So the job, of course, it started last Tuesday when they started digging actually, and we've had a few, I don't want to do it this way, I want to do it this way with the person you hired to do the job, being Ed. And we've kind of worked things out and everything's going pretty smooth, I would say now. He's got the first 2 manholes in, he's got caught up on the backfilling, which he kind of got behind because they didn't have a proctor for compaction testing, so they got that figured out. So everything's moving along good. He's had a few questions about Round Mountain's specs compared to Atencio's specs. Seemed like there's a little difference in some of them, so we've kind of went through them and talked about them. I've kind of gone to Dave and asked him what he wants with Round Mountain and kind of go with his suggestion, but I'm just eyes on the job, kind of making sure that he's doing it right. The backfilling, the pipe being laid right, that kind of stuff. I'm not really supervising any kind of safety stuff. We didn't talk about that. That's kind of in his scope, and that's why he's got insurance, I think. But, no one's got hurt or nothing. There's been a lot of wind, a lot of dust. I don't know if you've gotten complaints or not. He said he would try to keep up on that, watering it down, which we're getting Mother Nature to help us there. So that should help that problem. But I would say overall, the job's going pretty good. He seems to want to do what's best for Westcliff. It can be kind of hard at times, but he's old school and, try to keep him on task of, of the new regulations and everything that's in place is, me and him get into it a little bit, but we always work it out. We're pretty good friends, and so we know each other. No concerns with you guys doing the job on his end, except I've heard something about, he's been grabbing to me about getting paid or something. So I'm sure you guys have talked about that, so.
I don't know if I'm supposed to ask Jerry my questions about that or who I'm supposed to ask, because I have some questions about that. So, or do I need to ask our attorney?
I'm pretty sure that it's all the payment schedules is in the contract.
Well, I've got it right here and I did read through it. And so I had some questions it states in Article 14.2.1A1, it talks of invoice submitting. I'm confused because it was a lump sum bid and it wasn't line itemed out. But then it also talks that a contractor has to submit their material invoices in order to be paid for those. But if it's a lump sum, they should be paid, I would think, as percentage of work complete. So I heard that a little bit as well. And so I just to me, that's very contradictory to have a lump sum. They had to give a lump sum bid. It's going to cost X amount of dollars to put these lines in. And then in another section here, it's asking for a breakdown of their material costs before they can be reimbursed for that. when I know, because I've worked with multiple contractors over the years, that there's always gonna be a markup on your material costs. You always do that. So if I submit my invoice from Shy Surveying and I've marked that up 20%, because that's kind of standard industry procedure, how does that work? Like, how are you getting, it's a lump sum bid. I don't get it. And I understand, and I also Bob and I had a meeting with Dave and the attorney, and then Amanda was on the phone, and she told us that an invoice, Ed had already submitted an invoice, and I don't see that invoice in here in our capital fund expenditure, meaning is Ed gonna have to wait another month to get paid? I mean, I don't like seeing a contractor that's working not getting paid.
Well, no, I think a lot of that's out of pocket. When the materials are delivered to the site, they are on site and he's paid for it to get them there. So then he needs to be reimbursed at that point. That isn't outlined in the contract, that it's reimbursed for materials as they appear on site.
It says,
There's a lot of
it
pipeline.
says, it speaks of submitting an invoice, a material invoice, but how does, and so my question was, how does this work when most contractors upcharge the material? So it says you have to submit an invoice for material that you've had brought in. It doesn't specify used versus brought onto the property. But I don't understand why you have to submit your material invoice when it was a lump sum bid. In the bid, it wasn't like Article A is for 1,200 feet of 6-inch pipe and you put a price for that. It was a lump sum. So I don't understand why you need that breakdown. And from what I understand, payments are kind of being withheld. And all I know is we've got a contractor out there working. I don't see where we have put money in here to pay them. And I don't like the idea of them having to wait another month. And I have to wonder if they're not, if they're having to wait another month to pay their supplier, are we gonna be paying interest on that?
Dan, did you review the contract?
I have not seen this contract, no.
Super fun.
I mean, I can kind of speculate. I do see your point. My guess is that the town, or whoever was initially the contract, just wants some proof of something. And you're right, it could be tied to service or progress or other deliverables, but absent those being specified, it's probably just a way of progress payments. I doubt they need to match 1-to-1, like that at the end of all invoices received, it would equal the lump sum. But without looking at the contract, I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I think I'd like to get this to you, and then maybe you need to have a visit with Amanda to make sure that everybody's understanding it the same way. And then I guess I'd also like to ask if, I don't know how this would work, but I don't want to see Mountain Valley having to wait until June 20 whatever to get a first payment because we have to approve it in our meeting. So I don't know if we could have.
And I guess for me, it's been a while since I've reviewed all that stuff, so I apologize. I don't remember exactly, but Jerry, this should not be part of your file.
No,
But he's asking, I get that. Aaron?
He said he had to have something in by today or he couldn't get paid by the 5th or something. That's through Amanda, I think.
Through Amanda, okay.
Who submits it to, I think.
Right, and it's like in jobs I've worked on before, you submit a progress and it says I'm 20% complete, and so you get paid 20% of what you've done. And so I know there's nothing going on over there.
So I guess, Christie, Aaron, have we gotten, because Amanda has
I
to
haven't
approve.
gotten an invoice.
So it's in Amanda's desk right now.
Obviously, I
So
would
I suggest tomorrow morning.
an invoice sit
That's our
there.
first call, and let's Amanda and let's say, hey, where are we on this? So that way, because we have the money sitting here. right?
Well, what's reimbursable for, yeah,
Yeah.
but we have it, yeah.
We pay and then I send in the reimbursement
Right.
request to.
So his markup on his material is included in that lump sum.
Right.
So normally you would invoice for a certain amount of percentage done. And then PM would say, yeah, that looks close, or no, you're way out of order. It shouldn't matter to us what Ed pays for his pipe. I mean, if he's got a brother in the pipe business and we're still getting the best deal, then it doesn't matter. I mean, he shouldn't have to.
Well, he got the bid, so he should, and that's why I'm very confused about this writing.
And then do you guys do the 10% retainage on?
Yes, I don't know if it's 10%, but there is a retainage for a year after completion of the project. I don't know the percentage of that, but the final draw is, yes, like that. And I know this, but like, for example, mobilization. He mobilized in last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. That's usually a front end expense and a person should be paid for that. And so I am agreeing with Jerry that Jerry's hearing it. He's doing his job as a project manager. He's hearing a little bit of guff about it, and it's not an unfounded complaint, in my opinion. And so we need to.
And I can verify what's on site for you, just to double check that he's not billing you for something that's not on site.
Well, see, that's the comfort level to me, is that the materials are on the site.
Not all of them, but a lot of them, you're right.
Whatever's being used as they go.
Yeah,
Large percentage.
And then the labor is, you're looking at it in the ground. That's the comfort level with that. So then you apply a percentage to that.
And if you wanna do a footage over that distance, you could do that too. I mean, footages would be a lot easier, but.
Like your mobilization costs, I mean, he's already incurred that expense. He has mobilized his equipment. I don't know what that was a question I asked Amanda when we had that meeting. I'm like, well, with that invoice that he submitted, you say it had mobilization materials. Well, how much of it's mobilization? And she's like, well, it's not, I can't tell you that. And it's like, I've done a lot of invoicing for a lot of years and I absolutely break that out. So I guess I would ask that would be broken out, but I don't see why we wouldn't be paying in full a mobilization charge. It's in, the equipment's in.
I wonder if it's in Amanda's invoice that's on her desk now.
I don't know.
Christie, can you be here in the morning, Aaron, to talk, or?
What
you
time
can't,
is morning? Because I gotta get.
Well, and I could come up and.
And I've got my computer being worked on first thing in the morning, so I'm gonna need to be on the phone with them.
Okay.
What time would, I've gotta be out toward Gardner for a few hours. I mean, the afternoon would probably be better for me.
Yeah.
Would the
Well,
afternoon work for you?
You're okay. I'll call her in the morning. Jerry, do you call her on you don't call her in regular?
I call and talk to Clay, who's in
Clay,
my
yeah.
office.
Yeah.
I think that what I was kind of understanding in an email that I received last week is that the chain of command is not us.
Exactly.
So really it needs to come from Jerry or maybe Aaron to Amanda. I don't think, based on what I read and trying to be respectful of that it's appropriate for you or I to reach out, but definitely not me, but we need to get this to.
So with that, Jerry, have you brought this up with her yet? Or-
I haven't. I might just talk with Ed about it tonight.
Okay, gotcha. So tomorrow we can
He was
check with
concerned
Clay.
because he was saying something like, well, maybe I just need to shut down until we get this figured out. And I said, no, keep going. They'll get it figured out.
Yeah, so will you go ahead and talk with Clay in the morning and say, this is of utmost importance right now?
Right. That's what I would say.
Okay, thank you.
And I mean, he's doing a good job, what I can see. You know, you always run into problems, any kind of construction jobs, and you point it out, you fix it. And so, he seems to be willing to do that, so, everything's going pretty good.
And Round Mountain's happy with the fall from.
So, yeah, there's been a few things on the plan that have varied a little bit, but, we've worked it out and, the Tensiels know, and so Amanda knows, and Clay, and so they're good with everything that's going on right now too. There was a difference in the grade elevation of where the existing manhole started and where they shot. And they didn't get deep enough because there was full of gravel inside that manhole. So they were
So
off,
they didn't get a flow line.
huh?
They didn't get a flow line when they took the shot.
Exactly. They got above it, which actually helped them for more depth. Cause we kept it at 1% that first section, and so everything's about 3.5 inches deeper. Which is a lot.
So it's adjusted, so this,
We won't adjust it, we'll keep that same grade all the way through, is what Clay was saying, and Amanda, so.
When these adjustments are happening where it's like a difference between Round Mountain and Atencio and whoever gives, are we getting that in writing? Cause that's.
That's a question I was gonna ask Jerry. Are you taking notes about your conversation with Round Mountain and then?
I have what I call my black book, and yeah, if something comes up on that day, I write it down.
Just summarize what
Yeah.
the decision was or whatever?
And now,
That's real important.
Clay's been good at sending texts about bedding materials and other stuff that's going on with the project.
So at some point, we'll probably want to document all those texts and put them in our file, whatever's gone on your job. I mean, you're part of it.
Nothing major, just job related stuff, plans and stuff.
Well, unless we have to get Dan involved, and then all those things are
Yeah.
really important, right? Dan?
Excuse me, is our red line drawings part of the contract documents?
As built, yes. So they're supposed to as built it as they go.
And then everybody will receive
Yeah.
Round Mountain and
It'll go to Atencio first, and then they will distribute it out. Dave's not trying to, Round Mountain's not have any contact with Dave and Ed are supposed to contact, they're supposed to go through me, I guess, or, cause so there's no,
So you
this
mean
guy
Clay,
said this,
he
and this
said,
guy
he
said.
Clay and you and Round Mountain.
Yes.
Yeah, Clay is up there, you know. Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that all seems to be working good, and that's kind of staying on his task of talking just to me. I know he called Amanda today. And I think it was something to do with the pay apps. Go ahead.
It's a legitimate question.
No, it's not.
You know?
You figure how much diesel costs and just how much money's already got into the job.
Yeah.
It's always the most when you first start, cause you get all the materials. You know,
We have to have a special, even if it's by Zoom, meeting to approve being able to write the check for him before our next meeting. I think we absolutely need to do it.
I don't think we need to, do we?
It's in the budget.
It's in the budget, but I mean, we have to, for checks that we have to write, we have to approve writing those checks. I mean, or, I don't know. I guess that's a Dan question. Is Dan on mute? No.
Yeah, no, I mean, typically the city can issue the check, and then it comes to the board as that month's or, expenses. If you're comfortable with that, obviously you can do it where no money goes out the door until you vote to approve it. But generally, most places are happy to have money go out the door and then correct something a month or so later if there's any errors.
I'm good with that.
And I think that's probably well from the contract, or that's the point of the contract.
Well, and it was a lump sum bid, so unless all of a sudden it's like $20,000, $100,000, he wants a check for that much
So there
more.
wasn't any instruction in there about when payments to where.
I thought we did.
There is, but no, not when, it's all, you give there's a document that's, like where you summarize your performance and what you do, progress report, and then, you submit a pay app.
so usually in most of those jobs, they have a line items.
Right.
This one, I understand, doesn't have a line item.
No.
And so,
Mark.
I mean, obviously you want to be pretty close to, I'm not gonna pay you $200,000 because you say the material's with that. I don't know how you justify that, but we know that that's not the case. It might be $130,000 for.
Mark had a.
Yeah, it sounds to me that what has to be settled on is paying for what? And it sounds like the percentage of job done, which could include mobilization and materials on ground. And I guess if you want labor up to this point, that you guys maybe have the burden to say we're 15% done or whatever.
It would seem to me that Jerry needs to sign off on the pay app as well as Amanda, because Jerry's here. Amanda's sitting, I mean, she's in her office in Salida, and so she doesn't necessarily know it's been done, but if Jerry says, yeah, this is appropriate to pay, we should be doing it.
I guess that's my point. If it's a percentage of the lump sum, for a
Yeah,
percentage of the work done, then they jive, right?
they
That's what
should.
we would be paying for.
I mean, yeah, I guess it would,
10% at the end to
or
cover.
whatever it
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
yeah.
Whatever the retained,
punch list,
it
yeah.
should cover whatever, if he gets over too much or something, but. I know that he would like to get reimbursed for the material that was delivered, because if he doesn't get paid this month, then he's gotta wait another month. He's gonna be charged interest, you know, and he doesn't want to go through that.
Right. No, I get where he's coming
Well,
from, and he's already done it, so I guess a question for Ed maybe is, can he determine, you know, technically a percentage completion for what's on the ground right now and for his mobilization? I mean,
Yeah, we go by the footage of everything and do a percentage pretty easy.
That might be what's on Amanda's desk right now. She's got.
I think, but see, I think most mobilization fees are a flat amount, you know, however someone determines that, I don't,
It should be included
different
in this
people.
We
But see, we don't know that, cause there's no line item. Usually you got a mobilization, then a demo,
Right.
and so it should
We
be
haven't-
split half.
We haven't paid him anything, right?
No.
Right,
So
no,
this is his first invoice.
Yes.
So it'll probably be defined on the invoice what we're paying for. Sure.
but it sounds to me like, what I've heard is that invoice has been submitted and it has been denied.
Right, it was.
Yeah,
By
and
Amanda.
that's a problem.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Amanda got the invoice and said, I need more description and actual cost of stuff. And he said, I don't understand why.
Because it's a lump sum bid.
So when he found that out, he was supposed to have it in by today if he wanted to get paid by the 5th, I think it was. They told him the 1st, he had to have it in, and then he got paid by the 5th. But she kind of changed that. So there's been a lot of things changing back and forth
Yeah.
around now. It's kind
Well,
of,
it does sound like a little bit of a game of telephone, but I would say, you know, the invoice could have flaws, or it might make sense to make sure the first one is the way that the future ones are going to be. But I would also say if the contract says that they're going to get paid monthly, there's the ability to pay faster than monthly. Like, you can waive that restriction, and it certainly would seem to make sense that if and when this gets resolved, he gets paid as timely as possible.
Yeah.
I think that might make him happy where he feels like the town's actually working with him.
There you go.
And I feel like he thinks that's not happening now. Between Round Mountain, between me going to inspect, between you guys, he's feeling a little pushed, a little like.
Yeah.
They gave me the contract, so I don't know, and I'm not doing nothing wrong, so,
Why am I not getting paid?
right, so,
Nobody's seen the invoice, right?
well, Amanda has.
Amanda has, and she denied it.
She's in charge. No, I haven't seen it either, and he didn't show me nothing,
Well, if the
but
contract says she has to approve the invoice, then
that's
he
what it
signed that
says.
contract.
So we look at it, man, I've got to go get it.
The contract contradicts itself.
It does.
She wrote it.
Well, he would know that. Let's give that to him.
Yeah. we'll
So,
get
but
that.
besides the money thing, I feel like he's moving along at a, good enough pace. I did get some results back from compaction, and he had 12 good compactions. So that first section's completely good, He has to do a repair where it ties in because there's a little lip that's holding water back, so he didn't bury right next to the manhole, so that's gotta be dug up and replaced.
Oh, really?
And he knows that, and he's good with that.
Who's doing the testing?
Someone out of Pueblo, Jansky or some, I can't think of the name of it.
Chesky Soils?
Yes, it is, yep. So, they've been up here twice, they're coming up tomorrow, depending on the weather, but should be fine. It took a lot to get to the Proctor, right? It was real wet, and then it was dry, and so they're kind of trying to figure that out, and that's always the case. Any big jobs like this, that deep.
Did they have any concern, am I correct, that our new pipe is 10-inch? And he assumed that the existing pipe at Third Street there was 10-inch, but it's only 8, is that right?
Yeah, it's 8 the rest of the way.
Yeah.
So, It's got a, you know, a 10-to-8 reducer, and then there's a coupling that kind of puts them together. It's the coupling that wasn't quite right. It was for a clay pipe, which is a little thicker, and so it left a little lip and it was catching a little water. Round Mountain did a test just to, there was a little mix up on when we're gonna do the testing. I think now we've got that figured out when we're gonna do that, and we're gonna be consistent with that.
But don't hold that up.
You can read them, that manual that he got, and there's a lot of contradiction stuff, like it says it here, and then it says something different here. Between Round Mountain and Tensio stuff, and so that's part of it. I mean, I was on Fort Carson for 10 years, and you get that stuff. And so.
Every day.
Yeah, you just work through it and you do it right. But so, I think once he gets the money situation figured out, he's gonna be real happy and, you know. And I can make sure and do a percentage, like you say, of the whole job, or we can do it per foot, however you want.
Well, it should be defined in there.
Yeah.
It should be, but it's not, that I can tell.
I don't see where it just says to submit a pay app, but
Right.
in jobs I've worked on, it always what you do bill percentage of completion,
Sure, mine too.
or some places will allow you to, like if you bill once a month, they'll say, all right, go ahead and estimate what additional work you're gonna complete by the end of the month and go ahead and bill me for that.
Keeps in my head, but it's based on what's been completed.
Yeah, I think it's based
Mobilization
on
has been
what's-
completed and they're.
Yeah.
Pipe delivery's been completed. I mean, they're not completely completed between the existing manhole and 1 or 2, because it's not backfilled all the way. But he's done a lot of work to even get to that point, so. I think
Yeah.
it's just like,
You could still figure a percentage.
you could do a percentage real easy.
I think a percentage would be easier because we're talking about mobilization and purchase of material than to do per foot right now.
So
I think
the
it should
thing
be
about
percentage.
percentages, it's hard to figure once you get 3,000 feet of pipe over there. How do you figure that?
There's a certain amount of judgment involved in it.
Right, there is.
So it's pretty open, it sounds.
But he's wanting all the material that was delivered paid for, because it's on site.
Yeah.
In fact, he has a lot of other material that hasn't been delivered that he's holding at Core and Main, is where he's getting his stuff. Because he doesn't want to have to pay for it, because he doesn't have to pay until they bring it. So he's kind of waiting to make sure that.
It gets paid.
For whatever it's worth, I feel that his mobilization and material that's on site should be paid for.
I guess so too.
And maybe we do, maybe submits a payout that is broken out as mobilization, material on site, and then percentage of, if you can do percentage of complete for and we go per foot or whatever, so it's kind of a combo and that, because mobilization is a weird one. I mean, you can't figure percentage of complete on mobilization.
He's gonna have it all there at once.
This is all in Amanda's.
Well, they're always bringing new equipment in, it seems like they brought a new water truck in today, and so it's not like it was all on site, he's having to get certain things and switch it around. Cause he's doing other jobs, I think, too, so, he's moving stuff, but once you get it to the site, it should be, like you say, covered.
It's looking good. I've seen it many times and it looks pretty safe to me. Impressive. I've never seen something done like that, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're protecting the trench walls and everything as they go, and it's good stuff. Nobody's in the hole without their protection.
I'm not there.
Except you.
I'm not there, I stay on top, but, I go by, I've gone, like, the other day, I think I was by there 4 times, today I only went by twice. So it's just kind of like, today all he was doing was backfilling. So it wasn't as much going on, and there was no testing, or they did survey today, that next going up the alley heading towards,
Toward your house.
So, so I just kind of go over there as needed and kind of, walk around, and I think he's good with me doing that now, but, I ask him, I know pretty much detail of, what he's supposed to be doing, so I ask him questions, and every contractor has a different way of doing things, it seems like, too.
Sure.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a matter of here's it, how he's doing it. So I think he's doing a good job, so,
Steve, just keep some notes to yourself and
That's kind of what I'm
Things
doing,
progress.
yeah.
That's good. Thank you.
Jerry, we appreciate you.
If you want anything more from me, then that's fine. If you want me to look at the pay app and say, yeah, because I don't know how she knows.
I don't either. I
That's maybe why
feel,
she denied it.
and I don't, again,
Well,
we're not supposed to talk to Amanda, so I don't know who talks to her, but.
I can talk to her.
Well, I feel that you should be signing, your feet on the ground here, you see what's going on, I think you should be signing. You should like, or at least be able to call her and say, yeah, this is correct, this is good.
Sure.
Or she can call me too, I mean,
Right,
but I've been sending a daily every day. So it kind of says, okay, they dug 200 feet today, or they backfilled 200 feet today, that kind of stuff, with maybe 3 or 4 pictures.
Yeah.
And they seem to be fine with that, so I kind of know what's going on, I know where they're at the job, they don't really, and so it's hard to know.
So Jerry, the pay app didn't go to you first as the project manager?
That's first bill, as far as I know, she got that before he even.
Before I even knew.
yeah, it was like
Exactly.
May 4th or
That may be why
something.
she turned it down. So anyway,
It needs to get taken care of.
So I would think, if you guys just talk to her and say, hey, let's do this pay up right, if you wanna go through me and say, this looks good,
Well-
he did this work, this material's on site, bam.
how about this, you do your normal call in the morning, if you don't, maybe give me a call, I'll be glad to, because you're gonna be busy and you are too, and just say, hey, Bob, this is what she said, or something like that.
I guess what I
I
would
get
want
with
to
you
know
all.
from Amanda is what sort of direction does she need, and from, is it Aaron, is it Dan, to allow Jerry to review the pay app first? Like, cause I don't want to step on toe, I don't wanna go over heads and whatever, but, I feel that the temperature I'm getting from the board is that we want you to look at the pay apps and say that they're okay or not. And so I need to know what the correct procedure is to let her know that.
That's fine, I mean, that's pretty simple.
Yes, so I guess ask her
I'll ask her.
what she needs for that to happen.
I'm sure she'll send me something, email, and I can look at it and say, yeah, this looks good, or,
Okay.
no, he didn't quite get that far, and he hasn't done that much.
Yeah.
There's still these things he's gotta correct. Well, I guess at the end of the job, if you run out of money, he's at his end,
Yeah.
you're not gonna get no more, he's gotta finish the job.
Yeah, I did kind of want to make that point. I mean, contracts matter, but it's important to realize why. And here it's basically a cash flow risk, right? Like he wants to get paid quickly for money he puts out, but the city doesn't want to give too much money too soon and have a contractor disappear. But if you're 5,000 off or 2,000 off or $15,000 off and they finish the job, all that risk disappears. So some of it's a little bit of a guessing game, but precision is not possible on some of these things.
Well, Andy's bonded, so if he did walk, we would be, it would be covered.
And just to go back to the retainage, he's asking for a sum of money, and then you guys will pay him that sum of money less your retainage.
Typically, that's how it works when you.
Right,
with
and then
a contract or something like this, but it's how you guys wanna handle it, it doesn't specify it. He
Your
said
retainage is gonna keep
a certain
Ed
percentage
honest,
away.
you know, because you still have some of his money.
And it's to protect the subs too.
And maybe, I don't know, maybe she wants to hold some retainage and it's not I don't know, but I mean, that retainage is a big deal.
Yeah, it's hard to, we need to have Dan look
Yeah,
at
well,
this.
loop me in, but I do suspect there's probably a relatively easy solution.
All right. Anything else for Jerry? Thanks for coming.
If you guys wanna
And-
come once a month. and
Yeah, I think we'll just
give
put
me
you
an update.
on the staff and committee reports and just have you come in. I think that'd be a good thing to do.
Okay.
Got it. Thanks for coming tonight.
Thanks, Jerry.
Mike and-
Thanks.
Okay, now we're to A, Streets, Parks, Supervisor Reports.
There he is.
Sweepers in, and we needed to get Main Street stuff swept off. We're probably close part of it down early in the morning and then switch and close the other side down when we clean up, like we do when we're painting the lines. Or I have to come in early in the morning, wake everybody up with a loud machine.
Maybe you got washed off tonight.
Yeah. Parks are fertilized. We put out some notices out on the parks for that. I believe office staff put it in Facebook. Still working on sprinklers, trying to get things fixed and working. Luckily, Mother Nature's here to help out today and the rest of the week, it sounds like, so that'll help that fertilizer stuff soak in. Everything else is on task as normal. Paving is done. Thank you. So that's it.
Have you ordered the shade deals for the park yet?
Nope.
I have a question about that then. The park has been without shade for ever since I know. And I'm wondering if those are maybe the best long-term options. So I want to ask everyone if it is waiting one more year to maybe spend some time with the looking over or visiting with, if there's a Parks Advisory Committee or something to that effect, is it okay to wait on that? Then just throw those up and then maybe we decide later, like that's maybe not the look we were going for. I don't know what the look is, but.
Where had you proposed to put those shades?
Currently, there's 2 metal benches there that we were gonna put one each over. And
This
then
is
the
over
third
by the-
one was gonna be near the bathroom with a little bit of a picnic table, and we was gonna have to pour a pad.
Just where the playground is at?
Yes, just around the playground.
South end.
I drove by there the other night, there's a great big tree there providing a lot of shade, and you guys have trimmed it way up. Do they go for shade under there?
They do pull a picnic table around underneath that tree and deal with the bird droppings and the pine needles and stuff like that.
I just don't think it'd be bad to wait another year and to maybe get an aesthetic that we're going, I don't know what the aesthetic is, maybe that's it, I don't know, but I've kind of seen some other options that maybe are in the same price range that might be more permanent. I just think there's a lot of things out there that we could maybe look at and not just go with that,
But the
but.
shade structure is permanent. I mean, it's a pole you could take down
Right.
if you wanted to, but
And then it's a stretched tarp.
Right,
it's a tarp that goes over the framework, yes.
but like there's even like almost, I've seen, so my niece and nephew stayed with us for the last 10 days. And so I saw a lot of parks. And there are some structures that are almost more like a pavilion structure, not that huge, that still would have a concrete pad and things, but it's a little more not something that could blow away, maybe. I don't know. I just know there's other options out there and I don't, now that I've seen other options, I don't know if that's the best option, but if they've been ordered, then.
Has not been
I guess-
ordered and we can wait. And there is a park plan, actual park trails and I don't know what they call it, plan that the committee had done a while back that should be, it's called a master plan, that should be involved, you know, when we're doing upgrades to the parks and stuff like that, so.
Does this fit in with that?
Yeah. No, it wasn't, there was no shade in there on the master plan.
Yeah, we said we were gonna do trees in that area, and you guys approved tree zone by resolution last year, but then at one of the earlier meetings, decided with the coming drought that trees were out, and you made a discussion that we would do shade structures on the record.
In the master plan, they do have a couple spots where they do add a shaded bench along new sidewalks and trails inside the park and around the park for
Neil, which
plan are you
exercise.
doing?
That's the original one
That's the old one. I did the other
Is
one.
this the old one?
Yeah.
That's the old
Well,
one.
the new one had it too. You guys were putting in sidewalks and
Yeah.
benches and workout places and.
Not
Well, it was all
workout.
future stuff.
Yeah.
That's why we tried to do it in stages, because there was no budget. And we said that we would concentrate where the kids are and the moms and the pavilions that exist. So that first section is down by the playground. And we had said all along there needed to be more picnic places in our latest plan and more shade. And so I thought that's what you guys executed at the previous meeting.
And I don't disagree that there should be more shade, but I'm just wondering if what we had talked about doing is the best option for a shade structure. If it is, it is. I'm just saying, I don't want to throw good money after bad. I mean, if we put those up and then the Parks Committee comes back together, or we start looking at this document and it turns out that that's not really the vibe, now we're spending money to take that down and do more. I don't know, because I haven't been involved with that.
Well, I have to say, some of the members of the park committee, and me to some extent, it's been confusing. Like, some members definitely wanted much more input from the board. My assertion has been, my own opinion is, it doesn't work that way, because you guys are busy with life and you meet once a month. So the Parks Committee tries to come up with some notions that we feed to you, not the other way around. That's why some of the people on Parks Committee aren't really part of it anymore. So when you decided that trees wouldn't work, or agreeing with that, defaulted to shade structures. Neil, you got that vendor in, and that's what he had to offer. And at the time, I mean, the idea was we could take the canvas off in the winter, so we didn't have to worry about mildew and snow load and all the rest of it. And it was reparable, you could repair it if need be. And at the time, the board thought it was okay.
Yeah.
And it was
Opinion of that.
and it was a better option than trees because it's immediate and it's longer longevity and cheaper maintenance.
What's your opinion of it, Mark? Of that
I'm sorry?
design? What's your opinion of that design?
I think they'll do fine. I mean, to me, maybe I lack aesthetic sense, and I'm trying to be sarcastic.
No,
Two of my kids are artists and stuff, and I'm kind of crude by their standards, but these things look stout. We live in a high wind environment. We should be able to repair them if we have to, which I thought was really a good idea. We talked about the fact we could put ones, the vendor said we could put another one next to an existing one and make it bigger if we wanted to. So I thought there was an awful lot of flexibility in the design, and it was maintainable. And I don't know about aesthetics, I mean, they all kind of look the
No,
same.
that's fine, and we did make that motion and we did approve it, so we should go forward with that if everybody's of that mindset, but I just had someone snag me and point out a lot of other options, and that made me think, well, wait a minute, maybe that's not the right thing.
Did they want to be on the Parks Committee?
Yeah, they are,
Please.
don't want to go down that.
And two, they could be moved around to a different place in town.
Just bolted down.
Bolted down. When we have the drawings and we were talking about putting anchor bolts in ourselves and, you know, it's something that could be moved around and reinstalled elsewhere. And if there's other options, they should be put forward and decided on whether you want to do that or if you want to
Any
do.
difference to me. I liked them, but.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I that's fine with me.
So
We
if
had
it
already put it, we had already approved it, so I'm sorry to be a thorn.
I mean, I'm not trying to say that, Madam Mayor, I mean, if
No,
your
I-
concern is fine.
I just didn't know if I just didn't know if since, and I'm still a little confused on if we went over with the asphalt or not, and then I thought, in my mind, now I feel like we need to find $30,000. That's just how I look at things, and so then I thought, oh, well, maybe if we wait one more year on the park, is it really gonna matter? Because it, like, for 50 years, there's not been anything more than what's there, so. But we did budget it, and if there's money in the budget for that difference, then okay, I'm good.
And we could put that bolt pad in other places and move it around, or buy other ones like it, so we'd have some
Right, so
consistency too.
there's, sure,
I like that idea too.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
then, okay. never mind.
I wouldn't be
Not
happy
talking.
with kicking the can down the road again.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things been frustrating, I think, to a lot of people, is plans have been made, they don't seem to move, and I have to say that I personally think getting some impetus, getting some motion is an important thing. And this is a modest amount of money compared to, you know, a mega park. And it'll incrementally help the people, and I'm always saying it's about the moms, and to me it is. I mean, you go there in the summer, and there's parents, and they're not just moms. As I said at one of the meetings, they're rotating themselves around the existing trees, trying to stay out of the sun. And so I think it's a real meaningful improvement to the park that we can realize as long as it takes to get the contracts done and the pilings in and all that. It could be done at some point this summer or into the fall or something, right? Is that what you were thinking?
Yeah, it'll take away from the park's ability to be used, you know, when we're doing construction, so.
Big park though.
Not the playground. Playground's not that big.
We're not talking in the playground, right? We're talking around the playground.
Right on the edge, yeah.
Yeah.
But you're still gonna have to have a construction zone around it to keep safety.
Will that be true no matter what we do?
Yeah.
okay, I'm good. Sorry to be a pain. Any other report from you guys? Neil, you're retiring next month?
I'm retiring next month.
What's the date?
31st. 1 July, I'm out of here. Before that, so it'll be the 30th of June.
So you'll be here for our next meeting?
Next meeting, yeah. The pavilion at Hermit Park has a portage on there for the summer activities that we're gonna pay for in lieu of spending what was budgeted, $80,000 for a bathroom. To help with safety issues over there crossing that street, the busy Hermit Road. The pavilion also now has the log wraps 80% complete. They're all up, they're all screwed down. We just have to finish sanding them and staining them, and then everything will look beautiful over there.
That's the new pillars?
Yeah.
Seeing you over there working looks good.
On the paving, you gonna be putting any dirt up against the fresh asphalt, the edge?
We will,
Or
like
you will?
where the trails are, we'll fix all that. I'm just waiting for construction equipment to be
Okay.
finalized and moved, and we'll get all the trails doctored up, all the asphalt edges fixed, except for the school. The school's gonna spend their money to fix that edge with adding dirt material there.
Can you have anything to deal with, or who should we have to deal with Black Hills for that light at the pavilion at Hermit? Man, that thing is so, I mean, it shines all the way to Main Street.
3 times brighter than all the rest of the LED lights.
Yeah, have you noticed that at nighttime? Mark and I.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that.
Which light?
I see it.
The primary one at the park there by the pavilion.
Right on the south end of the parking area at the pavilion.
It's right in the corner by the.
Right in the corner, yeah. And you can look over and see it.
It's angled kind of
angled
out,
back.
and it shoots light all over the place. You can see it from the valley floor, you know.
Okay.
That's our
I'll talk
North
to 'em.
Star.
I'll talk to them. I mean, they have plans to fix some of them on Main Street. I don't think that one was brought up to them. I'll have to address it with them to see what we can have.
So you're talking directly to Black Hill?
Yes,
Okay, so that one and this one up here.
this one
I would
on our
think-
building,
Yeah.
that lights up our flag. You don't want it to light up our flag?
My only thing is we're a dark sky community and the town hall doesn't have a
Well,
dark
we can
sky
shut it down.
requirement.
If you want to be a dark sky, that means all the other parking lot areas.
It's like right out here.
Yeah, right here, it's on our building.
Yeah, we'll get it fixed.
But are we leaving the flag up all night?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We could have a spotlight on the flag, right? I mean, this thing, it's a question of glare, right, Chuck? That's the whole light trespass is the main problem. It just shoots light every place, not in a specific location.
That's, that's by design for the lighting up the parking lot.
Yeah.
You have the park open till 10 PM, but if there's no light, they can't utilize it.
What are you talking about? The light at the pavilion or this one here? About the parking, about the flag?
both. That's what that's for, is to light up our parking lot, so when we're going in and out, snow plowing or whatever, you know, you have to come in the dark, that lights up the parking lot.
As long as it's shielded, it'll do what we need.
Yeah, we just have to get it moved so that it's down. and shielded.
This one's an old ranch light.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just.
That's everything.
Well, it's designed for.
I mean, I don't know how many people remember what Ace Hardware, it took some effort and cooperation of Ace, actually. Matter of fact, Jeremy made the shields himself, but Chuck and I and Caleb were involved in that, and we went down to where the complaint was coming from, and the guy was right. I mean, those lights were supposed to be for safety for the employees, but they were shooting light all the way down the bottom of the valley, you know? So it's not a question to get rid of them, Neil. It's just shroud them so
Right.
that,
I'll have to,
okay.
yeah, we're on the same wavelength. I just gotta talk to
Okay.
Round Mountain, see what we get. No, I mean, Black Hills.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Water feature.
Anything else for streets and parks? Town clerk?
Our CML district meeting is this upcoming Thursday at 5 at All Ward, West Cliff. So trustees,
All employees,
anyone who wants to come can come.
What meeting is that?
The
CML.
Colorado Municipal League, they have district meetings and it's our turn to host. So we're us and Silver Cliff.
So if you wanna come now that
You're legit.
Sort of on the board, not quite, yeah.
You can get 2 meals that day too, because the garden club is having their lunch.
That's right. Oh, is that the 23rd then? Is that-
So you can eat twice.
This
Thursday, yeah.
This.
Right after the Round Mountain meeting.
Yeah.
And didn't you say you're not allowed to bring a date?
No date.
Okay.
Oh, I was gonna ask, did you want my job posted?
I thought we discussed that and we were going internal first, and so we're not gonna post it, but then don't we need to post another?
Well,
For a technician?
yeah, for a
Yeah.
technician, I've already got a resume from someone, that kid who's been really interested. But for the supervisor position, I mean, when I took over after Kathy, they didn't.
Right, that's what you guys said
I
that,
wasn't gonna worry about
right,
that.
so we just do, but we do need to post for another
Technician, yeah.
Full
Yeah, I'll
time
do
or
that.
part time?
What do you think we need?
Once Neil's gone,
Yeah,
Seems like the number that we have right now works well. So. But Deontay has talked about wanting to go full-time, but right now what we have is 2 full-times and 1 part-time, and then yourself, 2 part. She's only, oh, okay. So,
well, we can think about it.
yeah. I don't think,
It's too late for me to get the ad posted in the Trib this week anyhow,
okay.
so we can talk about it.
give it to Mickey and then post another technician, right?
Yeah,
And Deontay could go full time.
I mean, he hasn't told me that yet, so I don't wanna pull the trigger on anything,
Yeah.
but we'll figure it out.
Vicky, do you think there's people that would be interested in a part-time job? Because when we, after Caleb left and we had that coordinator, the fact it was, we realized a part-time job, I meant all the married guys with kids couldn't do it because they couldn't live on it, you know, so how does that work, you think?
Well,
Hard to
it's
say.
it was a different position. I think we've had more applications as part-time for technicians than.
That's what I mean, it's a different kind of job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's, I mean, and we have our different, and I shouldn't be, neither should be Neil, I mean, but we have busy times a year and not so busy time of year. And Casey was working out really well because she would come in later and leave earlier for her kids and stuff, so it worked out well. Again, all depends on the season. Sure. That's what I've noticed so far. Work, yes, sir.
So you guys will just get with Mickey and figure out whether it should be posted as a part-time or full-time and
Yeah,
go from there.
yeah, that works.
Back to,
I think it would benefit the town if we were more involved in some of the activities, at least by knowing what was going on. We had a Jim Connor or some kind of run thing that was going on around town, and the volunteers were out trying to sweep streets because they knew the route and where they were gonna go and things like that. If we know ahead of time what is going on, we can help prepare and plan and make the safe routes or whatever.
Should be knowing about those
Yeah.
types of things.
Well,
I
I
guess
don't,
street closures, I
don't
don't
know.
give you because I didn't think you, well, you need to know about street closures. Did they close the street on that run?
well, they have,
Is that the-
police there and the
The
posse, they provide the security and blocking the streets.
Okay, so,
But we need to know what the routes are because I guess in the past, kids and runners and adults alike, whether it be on a bike, whether it be running shoes or whatever, they slipping and falling on their routes because gravel, sand, uneven surfaces, etc.
yeah, I can add that to
Snow.
the application and make sure you guys get a copy of it, of any street closure or.
Any
event.
event where they're running, we need to make sure the trails are good or wherever they're running or jogging or biking or if they
And
got
if they're just getting
strollers.
together and like, they don't always tell us either, but
I know.
I try to, if they're asking for a street closure or they're asking for, that street at the bluff to be closed or something like that.
Well, I
But-
think there's the things that we overlook.
What do you- what do you-
Just like the safety of these runners and stuff. If we're not double checking these trails, there's a gopher hole in it. Somebody sticks their foot in it, trips, falls and breaks an arm. It's probably our fault.
It's a liability issue.
Yeah,
And then-
how do we find out about events that don't require a permit or a rental from the
I
town?
don't know. But we've also got like this weekend, of course, is a major holiday. There's a lot of stuff going on. Do we need to staff someone to work this weekend to make sure the bathrooms are stocked up and clean and the trash is not overflowing and blowing down the street or?
So you think that would be a reason that maybe there should be another full-time position versus part-time?
Well, part of it is a lot of the people don't live in town, so they're not really here unless they are forced to be here and be on the clock.
Or have, notice that they need to be here or
Yeah,
something.
volunteers type of thing. So there's just, I think we need a better loop or system to inform us of what's going on ahead of time so we can prepare and get things planned out.
Because it also, we have activities going, like filling potholes or filling the corner holes, or now that we have that sweeper, we're gonna be wanting to run sweeper and things like that. So it'd just be good to be in the loop on the info.
I guess checking tourism board and events board, if they're posting it, we can put it on a separate calendar of events or something like that, in Google or
Maybe
Microsoft.
we just print out their event calendar and we'll try to stay ahead of it, you know what I mean?
Like tourism and event, yeah,
And the school board, they have a calendar, I guess, that
they do.
they have events, we should probably be prepping things for that as well.
Yeah. I can,
So is that more of an internal?
Yeah.
meeting?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. And
Just last thing on CML for Thursday, any of y'all can go. Melanie and I went last year in Buena Vista. And what's a really great opportunity to see our counterparts in all the other towns in our district. And so you could get to talk with them and hear, and then we all talk what the exciting things each town has done. So,
Yeah.
or
I think it's
working.
gonna be a good event. Eileen and I worked to make it look, interesting and specific to West Cliff. The Allboard Museum is gonna be open for a while and
Can we get Main Street and Second Street done, swept, before Thursday?
For this Thursday?
Yeah, they've got about.
Did Melanie tell you?
Just now notified, so we will do our best to get it done by Thursday.
Try, right? We got them coming in from everywhere.
It's gonna be dark.
Well, in the dinner thing, how does that work out when they have the?
we've had a couple sponsors and the guests pay $25. So, we have a sponsor for alcohol and 2 sponsors just for the event, which will pay for catering, and all aboard gave us a good fee for that and paid for some decorations and tables, centerpieces that we're gonna raffle. And
I mean, talking about getting ahead of things, I was wondering about the street dinner we have every year in
the
September.
community, yeah, we don't have anything to do with
The
that.
town doesn't work on that at all.
On
Just
what?
closes the
Well,
street.
I mean, they
Valley
close the
Trail.
street, yeah, but no, that's
Yeah, we provide
community foundation.
we provide the barricades and the detour zone.
That's, maybe we could get the street swept before that.
Hey, maybe.
Is that enough notice?
Just September, right?
Well, we'll have them swept this week.
Yeah.
Any other town clerk questions?
That's all we had was the district meeting.
Okay, we don't, what is it with the West Cliff Parks Advisory Committee? We just left it on here, but I
I'll
don't.
take it off. I had it on for a while, but
Cause we didn't meet this month.
no.
And
I'll just put it on when you guys meet, then I'll put it on the agenda.
figure
For that
out
month.
what's going on with it.
I wanted to remind everyone that Paul's party is Friday, June 5th at 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock
Yeah.
at the All Aboard,
All
correct?
aboard.
So please come. And,
What was the date again? I'm sorry.
The June
June
5th.
At what time?
4 to
4
8.
to 8.
No, I got it.
And
Yeah, you could. Of course.
Somebody sent it to
I
me.
made invitations that'll start to, are we inviting the entire town? Put it up on Facebook, that kind of thing?
Yeah, okay.
Is that what we're doing?
Or just
Yeah.
employee.
No, I
just-
mean, I don't know,
People can stop by. I
Yeah.
think-
it's just like an open house
But
kind of.
yeah, and Bob and I were talking like catering at full dinner, like, and Erin, we were talking, I think just do like some appetizers and,
Not a
Like,
formal sit
not a
down.
formal, yeah, just, you know, something you pick up and stand and walk around. And I have to go to Colorado Springs anyway. I can go to Costco and get, you know, like some cheeses and
Party platters.
party junk, you know. And we wanted to, I know we talked about the alcohol thing. If we have just some beer and wine like CML does. Or, I mean, or we tell people they can bring it, either way, we're gonna need a special event permit, which is easy to get, cause Brian will sponsor it, we'll do it through Brian's Mortarman thing. So we just wanted to clarify that.
I do not think alcohol should be served at that. If people wanna bring their own or do whatever, but if we're gonna advertise it in the paper, then I don't think.
We
it's
wouldn't
good.
advertise
Not
that there's
in paper.
alcohol.
No, but I mean, okay, I don't.
Legally, if somebody were to get intoxicated and get on a wreck or something, they could come back on the town.
If they wanna go up to Constellations or Chappie's or something, or the bowling alley and have a drink after, they can do that.
Yeah, and I would just clarify, I would not have the town fund any alcohol. It can be donated or
Yeah.
but
Donated, like
Brian.
CML is donating for, or Brian is donating for CML.
I just think we could have a function that doesn't have it. I don't really see a need for it personally. If that's gonna be a make or break for someone coming to that, then maybe we don't want them there.
Oh, shucks.
I can, yeah.
I'll be telling
Or
you.
they can pregame and come if they
Right.
want.
Right, they could go to the car.
Unused parking.
Like the old,
Tailgate.
not to bring up a bad subject, but where are we with the MOU with Round Mountain?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Looking at you, Dan.
yeah, Aaron and I had a little bit of traffic today. Round Mountain had some edits back to us. We didn't necessarily see any issues with those edits, but the existing document still, we had some comments about, is this matching what you all envisioned? So I don't know if that's been circulated or what yet, but there has been progress and it may even be at the finish line. So
That's great. That's all I care to know, that it's not dead.
No, it's
Okay. Anything else?
And maybe this is something that we do just internal, but the sheriff was talking about the fraud going up with contractors and things like that. I don't know, maybe on our Facebook page, we could put something up, watch out for these red flags. You know, a lot of times if a contractor asks the homeowner to pull the permit, there's a reason why, you know, he's not insured or he's not licensed or something like that. And then the homeowner gets stuck, money's gone, they've got an open permit.
You could put, yeah, like a warning up, but
Should really come from the sheriff's office.
yeah.
Cause
it
then
really-
it looks like we're like
Getting
involved in that.
And then people come
Warn
to
them
us.
and tell them to contact the sheriff's office if they
Yeah.
are suspicious of
Yeah.
anything
Because
like
we
that.
had some fraud going on with, people would get a zoning variance or whatever and then get a bill for $5,000 and they pay the money, they're like, and then call us and be mad at us that we didn't tell them that there was this scam going on.
That is something we need to put on our Facebook page, is that these are our fees. If anyone calls and is asking you for additional money, that is not the town.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could do that.
I think you did that
I
after that
did,
happened.
yeah, but
Wow.
So many scams.
yeah, and I just can't imagine paying, wire me money.
Some
That's,
people will just fall for stuff like that. It's unbelievable.
that's why these scams keep happening, because people fall for them.
And is there any like backlog of permits that are out of date, not closed or?
No, when they're closed, when a permit
Closed
gets
out.
closed, I scan it into and then file it in there, and the only ones in Dwight's office are either the ones that he puts under something and I can't find, or the ones that are open. So when they get closed,
They're done.
yeah.
Erin, do you have this in a digital format that you can send it to Dan, or do you
Yeah.
need this?
No, I've got a digital.
Cause I was just gonna do some fun evening reading.
Yeah, take it with you. I've got a digital one.
Okay.
So much fun that he won't charge us for reading it?
Yeah, the money I get for being here is the same as it always is, which is nothing. So any other additions to the agenda, public comment? We chased them all off.
Everyone's gone home.
Yeah,
It's so
even-
late.
Even Jerry left.
I know, Jerry always stays.
I know, wow, I even ran Jerry off, strong word.
Melanie, unmute Bill Smith. If you, over here. Muted.
Bill Smith's still there?
Whoever that is.
We don't even know who that is.
Yeah, they never comment or put their video up, so.
We're done.
Anything else so we can, we don't have to make a motion to adjourn, so I'll just adjourn this meeting.
There we go.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Roger, Dale.
Thanks,
Thanks, y'all. Yep, bye.
Bye.
Bye, Dan. Thank you.